Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are here giving you guys, we're giving you guys a fans live around Married at First Sight. Decision day has been Mazzaline. Listen, my God, let me just do this. Listen. This season has been a very long one, a tiring one. Has been one that has been, it's been a lot emotionally. It's been tiring. That's what I want to say. Truth is, we tired, right? And look, I think we are all happy that we've reached pretty much the end. We're not at the end yet, but we've pretty much almost reached the end. I think we're glad. I think this is one of the only seasons that I've watched yet, and I'm like, I'm just so glad it's over. Just because I think, maybe because, maybe this is one of the first kind of seasons I've done reviews all the way through with other people being involved. I don't know, but it just felt like this is one of the most heaviest seasons ever. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot, right? So, shout out obviously Lifetime for putting on, Married at First Sight, irrespective of what we got, irrespective of how we feel, they put on a good show, right? And today, we're going to talk about, the decision day, and we're going to talk specifically about, Paige and Chris. We'll talk about obviously Jacob and Haley. We'll talk about obviously as well Brie and Viana, and Vinny. We're going to talk also about as well what's the name? Vodka and Eric as well, right? And obviously we'll talk about the last couple, which is Ryan and also as well old girl Clara. Listen, I'm gonna just say this, guys. Make sure you like and you share this live with somebody. It's going to be a very big night tonight when the super panel get on. But before we get onto the super panel, this is the open floor. Yes, the floor is open. Okay, the floor is open. If you want to join the conversation, listen, send us an email. Let's get into the conversation, okay? Because we want to talk about particularly this season. I want to give you guys opportunity, as we always do every week, to talk about your views on this particular show. And I believe the new season is starting in July, apparently I've heard as well. So we won't take long before we're back here again. And hopefully in July, we have a better stock of people. So, we want to see it. My sentiment, my thoughts, I'm going to be very, very honest. Chris, has done a number on Paige, but Paige has been in a position where she wants to believe, okay, that this man can change. And I think her whole entire appearance on the show should be a lesson for all of us. Sometimes people just don't change. In fact, I shouldn't say sometimes. People like Chris who who are not trying to change at that moment, who don't want the change, who don't want you. Okay, they are not going to be changed by your behavior. We call that agency, right? When you feel that your behavior can change another person, guess what? If they treated you like trash, you trying to be a certain way, it's not going to make them love you and treat you correctly, because he didn't do that in the first place. Okay, so what we're saying is, listen, for all of us watching, male and female, okay, we're not trying to change people that won't be changed. Okay, and listen, how you started is very important. Like, if that person wasn't trying to give you no love and affection, why are you trying to make that person give you some love and affection? They weren't affectionate, they weren't loving, they weren't caring, they weren't emotionally sound from the very beginning. Well, why are you trying to change them to make them be so? Stop it. It's unrequited love, and it's okay. Sometimes some people just ain't for you. Okay, some people are just not for you. Okay, and that's okay. Okay, that is okay. All right, so I'm sending a link now to a few people to get on board and come and join the conversation as well. It's sad because when you watched Paige, the scene where we see the experts watching Paige and almost getting annoyed on her behalf, is exactly us being represented by the three experts. The three experts looking onward onto Paige and Chris were representing us, because we were all looking at it going, Paige, do not think, breathe, utter words that are going to be that you're going to try and make this work, which she was on board to do. She was about to. Had not the producers or those who were behind the scenes grab her for a one-to-one chat, she was about to be in the cave, or sorry, in the den of lions with 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 Chris. Honestly, right? She was almost about to go back into the lion's den with Chris, had it not been for some of those people behind the scenes pulled her and said, listen, let's go for one-to-one chat. And then she came back with some strength. But this is what to let you know that, listen, when you're not centered, when you are not centered on healthy relationships, when you yourself don't have a good idea of healthy boundaries and relationships, guess what happens? You can be drawn out. You can drawn out. When you're a people pleaser and you want to enable people, you want to love them, you want to care for them, you consistently find yourself in unrequited love. Unrequited love means you put your love out there and it never gets returned. If you consistently find yourself in that space, it's time to heal. It's time to heal. Okay? Because what's going to happen is you will meet somebody who doesn't want to give you that love, but wants your body. You're going to meet somebody that doesn't, listen, I said in my review that I just did, I said, listen, men do not need to like you to sleep with you. If you didn't know, let me educate you. For those who are new to the game, who don't understand that there are men out here, wolves out here, there are sharks out here, okay, who don't care about your well-being, who do not care whether you like them or not. What they want from you is that they want your body, okay, and anything else you can give, whether it's your time, your emotions, whether it's your love, your care. They don't need you, or they don't even want to give that back to you. They just want to take. Vampires, man, them don't need any excuse to do this kind of stuff. I'm just gonna keep 100% real with you, right? They don't need it. So if you got a guy and you're saying to yourself, I don't know why you'd want to sleep with me. I don't know why a man would sleep with me and he doesn't love me. Or I don't know what, I mean, I'm confused because he sleeps with me but doesn't love me. Guess what? He don't love you. He loves some of you. And that ain't enough. Let me say it one more time for you so you understand. So that those of you who don't know about this stuff, right? Because I know a lot of you do know about this stuff, but some people don't know this stuff, right? If he sleeps with you, it is not an indication that he loves you. If he sleeps with you, it's not an indication that he cares. If he sleeps with you, it's not an indication that he really wants you more than just your body. It's not an indication. Us men, let me just keep real. You guys know I keep 100% real around here. I've done it before. I don't like the girl. I don't really care for the girl. I just want sex. Yeah, I just want sex. You know the ones where I just want sex and I don't care, bruv. Yeah, and that's why when you have that sex, right, and then the person just leaves in the morning, you feel like you got used, or you feel like, you know, like they don't really care about you in that moment. Why? Because it's not the leaving that caused that. It's the way that they acted. I've been there, so I know. I keep my hands up. I cannot tell no lies. Okay, I've been there. I've done that before. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you from experience too. Okay, I've been a douche man. I've been a dickhead of a man before. I've been a prick of a man before. I've done those things. So when I'm telling you, listen, you know, I like to tell a little bit stories and that, you understand? Because I tell stories. Like, we don't, we, a lot of us men also too are broken. A lot of us men are detached from our true selves. We're detached from love. You understand? So when we're doing these acts, you're thinking about how you would think. Don't think like how you would think. Don't think how you think. Keep it simple. Are the actions meeting the words? Right? Have the actions met the words? That's just the truest story. Listen, Kojo has done rounds before. I've gone to different locations in the UK, right, to meet certain gal, and I've got no intention of giving you a relationship. I've got no intention of loving you. I've got no intention of caring about you, right? I've got no intention of your heart. I don't care. All I care about is I need sex from you. So do you see what I'm saying? A lot of men are in that space. So guess what the saving grace is? What is my actions and what are my words? If I said I love you and I'm doing actions that are not loving, guess what? I may not love you. You know what I mean? I may not love you. Mandem will do Grand Prix, will do Tour de France, okay, Tour de Americas, okay, to get sex. Because what we don't realize is a lot of us men are chasing sex not because we're horny, we're chasing it because we are broken, and sex has become a painkiller, okay, to the pain that we're feeling. It's become an aspirin for the pain that you're feeling. It's become a hole, a filler of a hole. And actually, what you're saying is that you don't know how to fill that gap, so you fill it with sex, right? So this Chris thing having sex with Paige is not to be confused with love. Yeah, Paige has got it twisted. Just because he's laying on a D, and a D could be good. Listen, the D can be good, and the poussoir could be good. It doesn't make a difference. And that's how people end up in trances. That's how people end up in these cyclical ways where they are stuck in a relationship and they don't know why they're stuck. Do you know why you're stuck? Because you keep having sex. You know why you're stuck? Because you keep having sex and you keep opening yourself up emotionally. That's why you're stuck. You're stuck in that same relationship with that same guy or same woman. You know, like that same way. You're stuck in that same way because you are opening yourself up to that person, right? Whether it's sex, whether you're giving that person your time and your energy, whether you're giving that person your ear, every time you open yourself up to that person, they are taking from you and you're allowing yourself to stay in a cycle consistently. I don't want to see that for any of you guys. This is why we tell the truth on this channel. This is why we have these hard conversations. This is why we admit what we admit and tell you, listen, some men out here are just wolves. And a lot of men have been wolves and have converted. But listen, let me just keep it 100% trill. Start opening leg and start opening mind. Both of them. Start opening the legs and start opening the mind. Don't give it to somebody who's not willing to give back to you, because you will be stuck. You'll be stuck in a cycle. All right, cool. All right, listen. I've spoken enough now. I'm going to get my people onto to here. We've got some open. I've got some people on who are ready to go and talk now. So yeah, I've got some people that are on as well. So let's get those people on. And let's get talking. You know, let's get talking. You know, it's man, this season's been hard, man. This season's been hard, man. Do you know what I mean? I thought watching what you call it from last season, Zach and Mindy was a little bit difficult, but this one they topped it, man. They topped it, man. They topped it, man. They topped it. So let me get Linda and Light on the conversation as well. Let's get you guys in the conversation, see how you lot are talking. Okay, Linda, you got your mic open. Go for it.
Hi, Kojo. Good evening or morning or late morning. I don't know.
Go for it.
Okay. So piggybacking on Chris and Paige, I'm sure we're all thoroughly exhausted. But I couldn't figure out, why is my heart pounding so much? Like, why am I so distraught over this? But like, even Pastor Kyle said it. He said, I can't be more upset than she
She
is,
is.
because it literally is draining. Like, I felt emotionally exhausted. Like, I was in a situation and I couldn't figure out, like, why am I so emotionally tied to this? But I think it's because we all can kind of see ourselves being the
Yeah.
Paige in the situation at one point or
Yeah.
another, and that's why it's so freaking triggering. But I will say there are so many. I really, like, I don't know. I'm not like really as invested a lot of the times in people in this way, but I really seriously pray for Paige. Like, I even said to myself, oh my God, like I pray for her, like, God watch over this woman, because there's a lot going on with her. Like, first of all, why did you need 6 hours to deliberate on staying
Mm.
with this man after all that he put you through? After all that he put you through, why? Where was there's something lacking in her? Like she lacks confidence. We know that she's not satisfied with who she is, and she's not secure with herself, and that's why she doesn't trust herself, right? She doesn't trust
Mm.
herself, and she's not confident in herself, and that's why it really pained her so much to be able to just make that clear cut decision, right? Because she still feels like, what if I'm losing? What if I'm letting go of the best thing in my life? Sis, what exactly about the situation would indicate that you might be losing something out on something good here? Was it at the point where he said he wasn't attracted to you and he kept using your body anyway? Was it at the point where he humiliated you, telling you that he bought his ex fiance a car, a brand new car, and didn't even consider you or think about you in this situation? Was it the point where he never even bothered to invest by moving into the apartment with you? Was it the point where he could barely take your phone calls? Was it the point where he will let you go so easily because you didn't pick up the phone once when he has put you through so much more beyond that? Like, at what point, what about this situation made you think that you were losing out on something great? That means that she really does not value herself at all. She really thinks she can't do better than this situation. Like, this is the situation that you could be losing out on something great over. I don't see the greatness in this. And, a part of the reason why she's so tied to Chris is the sexual aspect too, because we don't talk about it enough, but like, yes, there is a biological change that happens with women once you decide to have sex with someone. There is something, the hormones change, the chemicals change, and you do become more emotionally invested in that person. I remember her saying in the very beginning, or towards the very beginning, she said when she found out that he was not attracted to her, she said if he had told her that before they had sex, kiss, or anything, she would have been at peace with it. But she did give up her body without knowing that how he really felt on the inside. And I think once she let go of that, or she I think that in a way, because she views her body as a commodity, I feel like she does feel like because she had sex with him, she kind of gave some of that power to him. And I think that's also a part of what kind of ties her. Like, she doesn't want to feel like she gave her body to somebody and it was a waste. So I think there's also like that aspect of it as well. But there was just so much going on with the situation. Like,
Mm.
to me, if it's all about actions, it's all about what is he doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Forget the words, what is he doing? But there's cognitive dissonance on her end. There's like an extreme cognitive dissonance because deep down I feel like deep down, Paige does understand the situation that she's
Mm-hmm.
in. Like, deep down, she does get it, but she cannot reconcile with why doesn't this man care about me? Like, look how much I'm
Mm.
doing for him. Look, I'm even here, even after you humiliated me with the baby mama, even after you humiliated me in front of all these cameras, I'm still here. I'm still gonna follow this crybaby to his car when he wants to come in at the 11th hour and
Mm.
decide he wants to try to save face at the 11th hour when he's been doing all this nonsense. And to me, there's something also to be said, and I'll let like speak soon. Sorry, I don't mean to ramble, but my
Mm-hmm.
last point, I feel like there's something to be said. Like, you have to watch the people that bring chaos into your life. Because I know for me, I value my peace of mind, and that is one of my top values, my peace of mind.
Mm.
And so we have to be very careful when you observe that there's somebody in your life that when they're in your life, they bring that
Chaos.
chaos.
Mm.
And that's all that Chris brings. He brought it with his
Good
even
point.
his ex fiance, bringing Paige into this, going on Married at First Sight, first of all, and getting her wrapped up into this situation where he was supposedly done with her. She's your ex fiance, and you bringing her into your brand new marriage. The
Mm.
chaos that he just runs through people, leaving a mess, leaving them in shambles. And you have to watch that. When there are people in your life that bring the chaos, you
Mm-hmm.
have to cut them off. And that's what I watch for too. When I watch
I
for
hear that.
toxic people, as soon as you realize whenever this person is in my life,
Yeah.
I'm always stressed out. I'm always upset. I'm always angry over something that they did. it's
That's a good point.
time to cut it off.
That's a good point. Good point. Thank you, Linda. Light, do you want to add to that? Good point, Linda, about the chaos. I've even written it down for a vlog. Yes, Light, talk to us.
Um, I really I agree with Linda's whole and complete frustration. Um, and I think that we all feel it. I wanna step back a little bit from Paige and Chris because I want to address what you were talking about when with regards to men that are okay sleeping with a woman that they're not attracted to. And I want to just since what you were saying you was an attempt to inform people. I'm going to add my opinion to that and hopefully inform people that there are some men
Hmm.
that enjoy,
Yep.
find amusement sleeping with women that they're not attracted to. There are
Mm.
some things that they feel they have a right to do or permission to do. I don't know that, with someone that they don't care about
Yeah.
emotionally, that
Yeah.
they wouldn't do with someone that they care about. They sort of tread lightly in a relationship with someone that they care about. They don't want to do something to alienate that woman that they love. So they're not going to want to do certain things, certain sexual acts that might offend her. If they are with a woman that they don't care about and the woman releases and slackens her boundaries continuously, he is going to push every boundary that
Absolutely.
you open the border to. He's
Hmm.
going to do things. He's going to continue, and some men actually get a kick out of pursuing women for that particular purpose. And I'm going to be really direct, and I'm hoping I'm not insulting to
No,
anybody,
no,
but
no, no.
some men think that women that are unable to hold themselves at a certain standard are stupid.
Yeah.
And if you are that stupid, from a man, that particular type of man's perspective, if you are that stupid that you're going to let me do these things, then you
Hmm.
deserve what you get.
Mm.
So as women, that is a space where we need to understand that first of all, but I think that we
Hmm.
also need to find it within ourselves to say, this is my boundary that I have to hold. I can't release it for him. Regardless if you love him or if you have to hold your boundary. I think it's different though when you're in a relationship where you feel that the
Mm.
person does indeed love you, then you might
Yeah.
want to release your boundaries a little bit and experiment together. But women that are really seeking just that, any type of affection are sort of not aware that they're in a relationship where it's not just experimental. He is taking it as far as you're going to let him take it. And if you allow yourself to be abused mentally in that way, he might not be sexually abusing you because you are consenting, even not even being coerced, but you are allowing this because you want this affection. If
Hmm.
you continue to allow him to do it, he's going to do it. And I think that it takes it takes a lot of self-worth to get to a certain point to say I just don't like what's happening, and I just this is crossing. You have to know yourself. You have to
Mm.
find some discretion, and you have to be able to analyze what is happening in your relationship. That might come with age, or it might come with experience, relationship experience. But at some point we have to be able to say no, I'm not going to let this happen.
Mm.
So I really appreciated you being really transparent, Kojo, because that was real harsh stuff that you said. Even confessed about yourself. But I
Mm.
do agree with you that if we're looking at this situation with Paige and Chris, people are wondering why they're being triggered,
Mm.
and this is a part of the trigger, I think,
Yep.
for a lot of people is, have I been in this situation? Have
Situation.
I allowed this to happen to me? Am I making this same mistake? Why was my last relationship or that relationship from 20 years ago so horrible? This might be able to explain some things to them. So I
Mm.
have to express my appreciation to you for being so open, because that's a difficult thing for men to say. I've been sort of a pig about this, but let me tell you.
Mm.
So little sis, let me explain it to you. So I appreciate you being that type of guy at this point in your life where you can say this for the betterment of other people.
I appreciate it, like, appreciate it. And just to
So
even add to, go for it, like, yeah, go for it.
no, I was going to jump onto Paige and Chris. If you wanted to respond to that first, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I was just gonna even just add to your point because as we're talking about these situations, so there are wolves and there are wolves, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and some wolves really like what we're describing with Chris. He's a wolf, right? There's just no care at all. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lack of, not even there's a lack of empathy. I would say there's like you were describing, there was some guys who enjoy the fact that you don't like them or they don't like you, but they enjoy trying to make you like them.
Mm-hmm.
And they enjoy the fact that you don't that you that even basically they want control. That's basically what it comes down to, is that they want control and they want to be able to utilize you. Now there are different levels to this, right? And I think both men and women do play this kind of game where if someone, I said this in a review, where you don't kind of like somebody, and as soon as they move on somebody else, you kind of start liking them a little bit and try to bring them back in, right? We've all kind of, I think a lot of people have played that kind of game, men and women, right? Then there's, like I said, there's a darker side of this game, right? And the darker side is when what we're seeing with Chris. I think that's why it's quite triggering, right? Because the darker side of the game is that you literally, what Chris is doing is that at every given point, I'm going to gaslight you. I am going to throw things in the mix to create storms to make sure that now you're always unstable. Like, this is not you just wanting sex. This is now you going to a mental level where I want to break you. I want to break you down to molecules so that now I can manipulate you in the way that I need to. That's different from the guy that's just trying to have sex, that's going to lie to you and say, listen, I want a relationship. But he's already on that slope. He's already going towards there. But we're talking about someone who's down that road already. This Chris is already down the road because he's actually creating scenarios. The whole, with Mercedes, bringing her in, trying, then using the pregnancy as well to get at Paige, disappearing acts and stuff like that. That's different. That is not the guy that's trying to lie to you and sleep with you, right? What Chris is dealing with now is what we're talking about, I guess, narcissism and misogyny and stuff like that. That's what we call the tail end of the madness, or where people can end up. If you don't deal with the wounds that you feel, man, you can end up right there down that pit where you have no remorse and no care and anything goes. And I think that's why it's so triggering. It's not the Zach and Mindy, because it's different. Zach didn't sleep with Mindy. You know what I mean? Like he just didn't like her, but kind of used her a little bit to try and get her attention. And when she was trying to move away, he put in a little bit, and he gave her after a while. But what we see with Chris is, I'm going to sleep with you, and then I'm going to create storms in your life, and then I'm going to make you feel like you're the best thing in the world, and I'm going to strip that away from you. I'm going to push you away. I'm going to pull you in again, and create a trauma bond, so you're stuck in a cycle. So that when I'm ready, okay, now I can pull the card out at the very end of the session where we're decision day and tell you, oh, you know what, you've got the qualities to be a wife, rah, 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 rah. But that's because he's put her into a cycle, a traumatic cycle. And unfortunately, that's what we saw with Paige, why she struggled to be able to say no straight away. So yeah, there is a darker side of this aspect. It's not just the sleeping. Like I said, there are wolves and there are wolves. It's a bit like Lion King, you know what I mean? When you see Simba and the dad, then you see the other guy, the brother, that's a different kind of lion. You understand? Like, he doesn't care. You know what I mean? So yeah, carry on, like, anyway, sorry.
Yeah, with regards to that, I think we can see that very clearly with Chris, because there's a couple of things that has to do with his pathology. He enjoys that he is able to manipulate her emotions in any direction. He is amused by the fact of saying this yesterday, he's amused by the fact that he can make her giggle and make her blush and all of that. And then he's also amused by the fact that she can be hurt, that he can hurt her, that she can, be in that position. He enjoys that. And that's, he's playing, that is literally playing with her emotions. And he does that intentionally. I really believe that he knows exactly what he's doing. And I think, I've said this before, I've shared, this belief with you, Kojo, that he is trying to, he's been trying for some time to move her from this position of wifey that he sort of was forced into. He didn't join up for this of his own free will, but he's in a relationship, he was in a marriage with someone that he didn't choose and didn't like and really couldn't get out of it at the moment. So from his perspective, he probably felt he was sort of forced into that situation, even though he made that choice. I think he probably doesn't quite get that. But because he's in it, he's almost mad at her. He's blaming her for the situation that he's in. And then he's actually also thinking, okay, well, I don't really want this person as my wife. Now he's saying all of this stuff because he knows this is the stuff that she wants to hear. But I still believe that he is trying to maneuver her into a position of that side chick side, I mean, it's a different thing for me to say side. I don't like these terms, but side chick and side piece from my perspective are two different things. Side chick is a side girlfriend, and a side piece from a guy's perspective is exactly what you described before. This is a person that I'm going to go to for sex whenever I want it. And I think that he is actually trying to get her to the point. I think everything that he said last night about how she is, the best thing that he didn't appreciate or something, I think he knows what it is that she wants to hear. But in terms of Paige, the thing that struck me is her still not understanding what the how the relationship even unfolded. If she was with a different guy that said, I happened to, had been with a girl, or I was with my ex just before this thing happened and now she's pregnant, another guy could have handled the situation better. He could have appreciated her in the situation. He could have, respected her in the situation. Chris, the way Chris handles every single thing is an indication for me that I wouldn't want to be in that relationship. No matter how bad the circumstance, the way you approach it is going to be the determining factor as to whether or not I want to be in a relationship with you. And I'll use the example of the way he responded to Dr. Viviana, that he jumped up and wanted to just cuss her out right then and there, and Paige has to be the one to try to calm him down. I really don't want to be that person in a relationship. That man in my life should not be presenting himself in that way. And that has been the case throughout the whole season. I don't care what the circumstances were. If the way he handled every single thing, attacking women, getting into fights because the guy wants to, protect his woman in the situation. I'm using Eric and Virginia as the example. He went after Virginia in a way that he didn't have to go after her. Another person in that situation would have been able to diffuse that situation. Then when Eric said, I can't allow you to speak to my wife anymore, then Chris wants to get into an argument. Another guy in Chris's situation would have handled those situations better.
Yeah.
Paige is still thinking that the problem in her marriage was that his ex-fiance became pregnant. Yeah. And from my view, that was not the problem in your situation. The problem in your marriage was your husband's personality.
Yeah.
And that is what she's not seeing. And that's totally problematic for me. I'm wishing that she has the self-worth to be able to say, this is not the type of relationship I want to be in. That was my main takeaway from their situation last night.
Love that light. Thank you. Appreciate it. Really T with T. Welcome to the conversation. We're talking about obviously Chris and Paige, I guess. But you can talk about someone else if you want. But yeah, go for it.
Hi, thank you for having me again.
No worries, it's a blessing.
Thank you. So Chris really gets under my skin because I feel like his whole what he wants to do is control every situation. So this is why he's always coming in late. He comes in, he runs out. Everybody has to follow him. Remember, this is a production set. So he's completely disrupting everything. The cameramen have to follow him. There's this whole big crying act that he puts on. I get annoyed because Paige feels like she has to follow him. And for some reason, I'm like, why doesn't she see her worth? Why would she want to sign up to have to manage his behavior for the rest of her life? He is so immature that when Dr. Viviana talks to him, he goes to, I don't give a flying F and all this stuff, just immature conversation. And you have to say, Chris, try to hold him back. This is something you're going to be doing forever because he just doesn't have the emotional maturity to be with somebody like her and to even be on TV. You know what I mean? He shouldn't even be in this show. So it makes me upset that she doesn't see, of all of the things that she has going for her, that she deserves better than this. For example, Jake, he says, listen, as soon as he figured out that Haley wasn't attracted to him in whatever way, he kind of checked out. He was like, listen, she isn't into me. I work really hard on my body. I have a good job. I have a good house. I can find somebody who's into me. This really isn't going to work. Even though he was on the show, we know he mentally checked out. For somebody to tell Paige over and over and over again, I am not attracted to you. And then for you to continue to allow him to get into your head, your body, whatever it is, it makes me feel like something is definitely lacking. I mean, what you guys have said the entire night, obviously, self-esteem, self-worth, everything. But the fact that this is so apparent is what bothers me, I don't know. That's all I have to say about that.
No, good points. Good points.
Can I add something really quick in here?
Yeah, go for it.
And it's sort of like going along the lines of something that Light said earlier. That switch up with Chris, right? Like how he came in, like, oh, I just want to apologize. I just feel so bad for how I treated Paige. And look, within minutes, he switched it up right on Dr. Viviana. As soon as she was trying to come to Paige's defense and even just indicate that maybe Paige deserved a little more, that switch up that he did on her. You have to pay attention to people's temperament. That ability to go from hot to cold that quick, that's like never going to go away. That's seething underneath the surface. Like that's part of their character. And that's something that to me, that is a sign that this person is not stable emotionally when they can just go from hot to cold like that. When you can switch up your temperament that quickly. And what triggered it? Somebody seeing that Paige had some kind of value, that she might maybe have deserved just a little sliver. Like, can you just have a conversation with her, give her closure? He couldn't even like take that. Like, nobody should be like coming to Paige's defense that she has any kind of value until I say that she has it, and only to the extent that I think she does. Because as soon as I feel a different way, the switch up will come again. So to me, like when I think about people like Chris, like I think about it like, would you get into, if someone said, hey, there's this lion in the cage, would you willingly go into a cage with a lion? No, right? Most of us who are sensible would not. I would think about people like Chris, like he's like a wild animal. Like you're looking for rationale, you're looking for the humanity. There is none because he's a wild animal. So treat and regard people like that as such. You would stay away from the lion, stay away from people like Chris. You wouldn't go willingly into a cage. Why? Because they'll what will happen. So like there's this opening scene. I'm gonna bring a little analogy in here, but there's this opening scene in The Lion King, and when it's a Disney fan, Scar is playing with the mouse. He's just playing with the mouse, just toying with it. Like this, he has control over the mouse, right? The mouse is just this little vulnerable thing, and he's just playing with the mouse, lets it run away from him, and then he brings it back, lets it run away from him, brings it back, lets it run away, and then he squashes it, right? He has that power over that mouse. The mouse is just a plaything for him. He's the predator in this situation. He has the power. So it's really important to recognize, like, there are predators out there, and not the kind that will just kill you. They're the kind that will kill you physically and the kind that will kill you emotionally. And those are some of the most dangerous kind as well. So there's a lot to like watch out for and learn from this whole situation with Chris and Paige, and that is where I feel like there could be some value here. Like, let's like learn these signs and look out for people like Chris, because it's dangerous out there.
Yeah, I want to add something to that too. I really agree with you, Linda, on that. But what I saw in that switch up was something so evident. I agree that he has a volatile personality and he's sort of going from one extreme to the other. But that indicated to me how disingenuous he was with those statements that he was saying to Paige. That was not the real him. That was the him that he was presenting to try to get back with her, to get her back under his control. And then as soon as he was challenged by Viviana, that was the real him that came out. That part of him that continues to say all of these sweet things, and then he came at the end to the group set, the group completion, of barbecue, whatever it was, and came with all of those I'm sorries. I don't believe any of that. I believe people like this learn what type of masks to wear. Bad guys know what kind of good guy costumes to wear. And I feel like he came in with the intent to be wearing that good guy costume. And as soon as somebody spoke outside of his script, that how he thought it was going to play out, then his reality came. He didn't know how to handle it. But I agree with you is that he is that type of a predator that we can learn from who he is so that we can say, okay, I need to stay away from that, or I'm recognizing that in somebody that is with a person that I care about. There's so much that we can learn from this situation.
Good points. Good points. Good points. It's interesting. I think from my male perspective, I think it's quite interesting because I'm just thinking back to some of the stuff that we've done as men in the past as boys. And there are similarities. Like I said, there's a scale in terms of what men do, because a lot of the stuff that Chris does, a lot of if you want to call it that, players, they do the same thing, right? Keeping you on a string, that's what players do, right? They know how much to allow you to kind of separate from them before they pull you back in again. They are your everyday. Like as I said, Chris is just the extension of darkness, but a lot of guys are in that space. They do the exact same thing. They know how to show a good face in front of certain people, and they know how to operate in certain spaces. And I guess that's the scary kind of part, which is that this is why I'm kind of saying to the men who are obviously on this channel and who are listening to this, is that you don't know when the day you're going to become the darkness. You know what I mean? Because we do these, and I'm just keeping 100% real. We do these things. We practice these things. Listen, us men, when we're younger, we talked about these things. This is like I said, some of the behaviors that we exhibited when we were younger and how we played girls, we talked about things. Man, them shared their notes in how they were doing things. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so I guess I'm trying to say, like, if you're a man and you're listening to this, I'm almost kind of saying, listen, be very careful, because this is the road is so slippery. Before you know it, you are Chris. Because a lot of men will watch and say, oh, I'm not like Chris. I would never do to the extent that Chris is doing. But I can tell you 100%, you are closer to Chris than you realize if you play any of these games. I know, because I've done it myself, so I can tell you that you are so close to being Chris. It doesn't take long before you are Chris. You know what I'm saying? And some people have been Chris to a lot of women, and other women will look at them and say, you ain't no different from Chris. Right? Even though you might have a bit more remorse and you might feel a bit more sorry now, but your behavior in that moment was no different to Chris. It's devilish, right? And so that's what I'm trying to, like, it's such a slippery road that you find yourself in as a guy. And because we're young and how men congregate with one another, and some of the things that Chris, the reason why Chris, for instance, gets annoyed at when he's challenged is the aspect of pride is so heavy in Chris that when anybody challenges him, that's when the real Chris stands up. Yeah, the mask straight away slips. He did it with men and he's done it with women. The moment his pastor friend stood up to him, the same thing happened. The mask slipped. As soon as Dr. Vivian did the same thing, the mask slipped. Right? Even when and that's why I noticed Pastor Chris so Pascal, Pascal. Sorry, Pascal did something different to what everybody else did. If you watch him, I think Pascal's clocked it already. And at first, I was a bit annoyed at him, but then when I watched it again, I said, "No, Pascal's clocked something. He's clocked. You can't come at Chris head on. If you do, you won't win. He's only going to self-implode and self-destruct." So when later on in the show we watch Pascal come to Chris, you watch him. He says to him, "Listen, be a man. Do the responsible thing." And even that, still, Chris is not going to do what he wants. Chris is still going to do what he wants to do. Because there's nothing you can say to somebody who's prideful that will change him. There's nothing. No words will you say to him. It will always fall on deaf ears. So these type of men like Chris, yeah, this is what I'm saying. A lot of men they're lucky. They are not that far from being Chris. When you don't want no one to tell you nothing, you're not that far from being Chris. So, just for those of us who are men and we're watching, listen, I'm not trying to shank you, but I'm trying to get you to deep your behavior. You ain't far from being Chris. You know what I mean? By the way, sorry, I've taken a conversation. Yes, reality with T. I just got told in the chat that I said it wrong. So reality with T, talk to me, man. What are you saying?
Yeah, I just feel like we're giving Chris a little bit too much credit. Because there's something about his behavior that is feeding me immaturity. Just like you said, these are games that you played when you were teenagers. That's what I remember of, when you start dating, these are the type of things that young boys, high school boys do. He doesn't have the smoothness of a 35, however old he is. He's like, his behavior is so extreme that it's like you can try to get sympathy from someone without running out and crying and having the fake tears. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, a real player, a real person who's really on their game, a real guy, he would have sat there and he would have took the criticism and he would have said, "I'm sorry you feel this way, but I'm unable to make a decision right now." But instead he has to, he feels attacked. So like an 8-year-old would do, "Your mama." No, your mama. You know what I mean? He doesn't even have the smoothness to check his emotions. You know what I mean? So it looks like he is really manipulating her on this high level only because Paige is also immature. She's also kind of weak compared to what we are used to. So to me, it looks like he knows he's able to toy with her, but to me, he's not that sophisticated in his game. You know what I mean? Like all this extra extreme behavior is unnecessary. Anybody who's smooth and knows a real player, he would have sat there. He wouldn't have been sweating. He wouldn't have been doing all the little smirking and whispering and running this way and that way. He would have just took it. And you know what? Maybe he would have pulled her to the side later and said, "Listen, enough of all this TV show stuff. We're going to get together later." And she probably would have fell for it. But all of this behavior that we see on the TV, I just find it to be high school.
I get you saying. No, that's a good point. Good point. Good point. Yep. Good point. I can't deny that. Good point. Obviously,
I agree with that reality.
Definitely.
I'm sorry, Kojo. I agree with that reality. I had the same thought of why would you do all of this on TV? I mean, at this point, especially at this last meeting that they had, there was so much that was just overkill. And it was this kind of like, if you really were, I mean, I guess what you were saying is that if you're on top of your game, quote unquote, that you kind of have to be a little subtle at times. He just has no clue how ridiculous he is. And I don't think that we've been insulting him all of this time when we've been, evaluating, who we think he is. But this is an insulting word to say, but this is ridiculous in the way that he approaches what he's trying to do. He's trying to play in the game with the big boys, and the big boys are subtle about what she's so right. What reality just said, the big boys are subtle about what they're doing. They don't. People don't always see. People don't always see. When you're manipulating somebody, it's the woman that's supposed to look a little crazy when in a male domination situation. And I'm going to use Eric as an example. Eric comes off so nice, and so like he's all supportive, but his game is really kind of under the current. Chris is so over the top, and it is really the immaturity of who he is on top of everything else. I just thought you just made such a great point.
Good point.
I kind of agree with whoever posted Femme Fatale that a narc is a narc is a narc. And for the right person, those games are going to work. Like he's like level 1, there are levels to it. Right. So he's the
Right.
right, he's not covert, right? Because
Yeah.
covert, that's the more stealth, like
Yeah.
you have to really be
See it and
like,
deep it.
yep, exactly. He is like the one that's like, he's a narc, but he's not covert. He's out in the open,
Mm,
right? But the right person is gonna fall for it. So, but he's still a narc. And so like
mm,
his game is gonna work for the right woman. And believe it or not, there are plenty of women that will fall for that like outright narc, the one who's not even trying to hide it. Why? Because whoever said it best, like he has the perfect victim, which is the codependent empath, right? The
mm,
codependent empath, the one who's like the sensitive, the one who's always going to be forgiving, the one who's always going to try and see the good in you, which is, and part of that comes from her Christianity as well, that kind of builds
mm,
women to be exactly that. And so and there's probably a good reason he's not going for any atheist girl. He's not going for any worldly girls. He's going for those Christian girls that he knows they breed him a certain way too. And
mm,
so for the right one, he knows that he can play these games, and that's why he doesn't have to be as sophisticated, right? Like he's not in the in the he's still like on the jungle gym. Like he
mm,
hasn't graduated to playing basketball where he can duck and dodge and really like play at that sophisticated like NBA level type of narc. Like, but he's still in the junior leagues, but he's still winning at it in
mm.
his league. Like he's doing what he can do at his level, and he's able to like get the woman at his level that he can get. And those are the Pages of the world, and they exist, unfortunately. Grown women who are aware of the narcs, they're not like, you can only do that but so much, right? So
Mm.
this only works with certain type of women.
People, yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. Definitely hear that. Definitely hear that. Any other points? Any other points anybody wants to add? Feel free if you want to add any more points. No one's got no points. Cool. Obviously there were other couples. I don't know if you want to open it up a little bit and you guys can share how you felt about the other couples. I actually can't remember half the things, other things were going on. I know that I know what people did. I know that Jacob and Haley said no. I know that Ryan and Clara said yes. I know that also as well. That also Eric and Virginia said yes as well. I actually watched it live with my team super panelists last night. And there was a comment that someone made. I don't know if you guys on the panel want to talk about this right now. That when Eric decided to propose and do the whole ring the
Yes,
ring
I have a comment
situation.
about that.
Oh Lord. Okay, go for it. Like maybe you can shed some light on that. Go for it.
Well,
No
that
pun
is
intended.
exactly what I wanted to bring up because it's just another aspect of him being manipulative because he said flat out, I don't know if she's going to say yes. He wasn't sure, right? If he had waited and she said yes, and then he said, I'm so happy, let me then propose, I would have thought it was cute and romantic. But what he did was he did it before she could respond and say no, because he knew if he had gone to that length to get on his knee and propose, that she would not embarrass him by saying no. She might have said no anyway. But once he's done that, I felt that he knew she wouldn't say no, and that was manipulating her response. He didn't allow her to actually respond on her own. He pushed that response in a certain way by pushing her into a corner. And then after the fact, she looked like she was, I know that I don't know how long they were there, but they edited into maybe a few minutes. But she looked like she was a deer in the headlights. She just looked as though she was blindsided completely. At first, she was, "Oh, thank you, baby, it was cute," or whatever. But what he did, I just thought was everything that we've been saying is him being manipulator, and people don't like the fact that I use the word abuser, but to me, these are the early steps of somebody being abusive and in a controlling manner. And so I'll stay with that. Controlling. He controlled her response, and that the word infuriating started to come up for me, but I mean, obviously, in the right scale of this show, not in my entire life, but I was really upset that he did that on her behalf. My business vibes were kicking in.
Good points, like good points. Anybody else want to add?
I agree with that. In his little montage, I don't know if you caught him when he said, Virginia needs boundaries. And it's his delivery that makes us so upset. In some ways, she does need boundaries in a relationship, but I also feel like he feels like he needs to guide her. And so it was kind of like, even if she's undecided right now, I'm going to get on my knee and kind of guide her because she might not know what she wants to do, but I'm going to pretty much make her do this, because I think it's very rare that women are in the position where if there's a guy on their knee and they're giving them a ring and it's public, that they're going to say no. So I definitely agree with you, Light, that it was completely manipulative. But I feel like he thinks he always needs to do that for her because she is so misguided and all over the place,
That's a good point too. Good point as well. Good point as well. Linda, go for it.
He does not want to feel embarrassed. That was 100% manipulation. It was almost like he was just begging her, like, please don't leave, please don't don't make me look like an idiot on this couch in front of these judges. I've been divorced already. Like, man, the way that he just went so hard, and it was almost like Virginia, she did not look that ecstatic for someone who has just agreed to spend the rest of her life with someone. It was almost like she was like, yes, of course, yeah, sure. It's almost like, okay, yeah, you'll do. Like, you did a lot. Like, I can't just leave you hanging like this. So I think she was almost kind of being nice by accepting it, so that she doesn't hurt his feelings. And I think that's just the nice part of her. But she did not look like someone who was excited to be spending the rest of her life with Eric. It just did not. I didn't get that sense from her. And so I definitely think, and we did not hear from her. We didn't get usually they let both sides speak. And so even if someone says they want to stay married, the other person still has the opportunity to say their piece and also either say, you know what I mean? We didn't even get that from her. It was just
we didn't,
marry me. Come on, stay. So it was definitely he pushed her into a corner, and because she is a nice person, it was almost like a pity yes. And who wants that?
Good point. I definitely hear what you guys are saying. I think at first I didn't even clock it. I guess because I didn't pay too much attention to them. I was waiting for Chris and Paige. But when the group was mentioning it, it made me think back to the fact that just previously, the episode before that, where they were talking at dinner. And he was then saying obviously about how he cares for her, and he was crying and and I think with Eric, when you're watching him, his constant need to, or constant insecurity, is what brings control. Him not feeling secure and feeling like someone's going to leave him. I think this is probably why that I was maybe a little bit, I wouldn't say triggered, but I was like, when David from Ready to Love said, I won't let someone leave me, I was like, eh? Like, what? I was like, what are you talking about when you're gonna let someone leave you? When, you know what I mean? So it's like when people have those insecurities, what they're trying to do is they're trying to stay secure, and they do anything to keep secure. And so yes, that proposal at that point in time was controlling, and it was a manipulative tactic, because very, very, we didn't, like you said, we didn't get to actually hear Virginia's answer. Does she want to stay married to you? And then you just propose. It's completely different to Vinny's cheesecake situation. They already had said what they had said, and then a cheesecake came out. And it's like with Eric, it wasn't. Eric just wants to almost funnel her into one lane and be like, you are going to say yes. You know what I mean? I'm going to push you in a direction of yes. And I think that is the key part about Eric's behavior, which his insecurity is what brings a major control. And obviously you already know how I feel about Virginia, some of her behaviors. That is not going to help the situation with him. It's only going to get worse in terms of him trying to control the narrative, and they're potentially going to explode if he doesn't heal some wounds. You know what I mean? Go for it. Got a mic open.
Yeah, I was just going to address that insecurity thing because that is really the motivating factor for most abusers. They start out being insecure. Oh, my girlfriend is not liking me anymore. I don't know what I can do to get her to like me. Now she wants to leave me, but I can't let her leave me because then I'm going to look stupid, or I don't know what to do to keep her. So now I have to control her. They all start off on a level of insecurity, but then they escalate. If you don't deal with your insecurity and you don't deal with the fact that you can't accept the other person's choices, then you're going to escalate in your control, and control can slip over into other types of abuse. And control, you know is right now not necessarily emotional abuse, although there are times I think that Eric has intentionally hurt her in order to be able to sort of keep her, like when he's always saying, you can leave. I think it started out with, I don't want to be with someone that doesn't want children. But towards the end, if you're a person that understands that your partner has abandonment issues, and you continue to tell her that she can go anytime, she doesn't want to do things your way, you're hurting her because she's already afraid to be abandoned. And now you're saying that if she doesn't do what you want, you're going to abandon her, or she can just leave, or she's not important enough, to remain if she doesn't do it your way. That was intentional. So he has already gone over some steps. So he can go from being insecure to try to manipulate her, to then try to emotionally maneuver her, and then become abusive. And so it escalates every time. And I'm just going to backtrack, a little bit to Paige and Chris, because Chris is the type of person that I can see becoming physically abusive. But with Eric, I'm just wondering at what point that could be the case. I don't know that I see that, but I see a lot of escalation in him, even at this point. I totally agree with you that it is about his insecurities, but if your insecurities are trying to, are leading to you trying to control her, then that is abuse in my mind.
Mm, good point. Good point. Yeah, good point. Definitely a good point. Yeah,
I
relativity. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I agree with you, Light. I'm also going to hop on Eric's side for a moment because you say he's insecure, which he is, but Virginia has done nothing to
Mm,
help him to become more secure in their relationship. I mean, we literally have had a season-long fight on whether or not she could sleep on her male friends' couches while completely knocked out drunk. Every time he tries to get a little bit of footing, like, I want to be secure in this, I want to know you're with me. Can you take into consideration that I have allergies? Can we
mm,
sleep in the bed together without animals? Can you just come home every night? Those type of things. She says no. So I think that he has a reason. I think that this is a terrible match, but
yeah.
he gives him a reason to not feel secure. So if he came in with those issues, she definitely didn't help him with them because she just, the entire time, the entire season, she's been resistant to anything that would make it seem like she's ready to be in a monogamous relationship, to be a wife. So, I would think that he's still insecure. It's like, I really love her. I want to keep her here. But she does nothing to say, listen, I'm here with you. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm here with you, but you're not going to be number one on my list. I'm still going to be going out Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and drinking. And my friends are always going to be ahead of you. So she's done
Mm,
nothing to make him feel more secure.
mm. Good points. Good points as well. Good points as
I
well.
really agree with that reality. I think from my perspective, though, when it comes to Virginia, I agree with everybody that the girl is immature and that she has not gotten to the point of being able to let go of her singledom lifestyle. I agree that she really needs help for her drinking. I think the thing that what I'm seeing is that she is self-aware in a lot of ways, and that she
Mm,
knows that she needs help, but with a different type of personality mate. I think that she was ready to let down walls, but because he's been ramming through these controlling factors from day one. I mean, like when they were on their honeymoon, he's like, nope, no male friends. And she's like, wait, that's already imposing on the type of person that I am. So all of those things that are keeping her from um, that of allowing him to be the most important person in her life is because she's protecting herself from his controlling behavior. That's just my perspective. If it was someone that was more nurturing and that was more, paying attention to certain things that she kind of needs and saying, okay, well, maybe we should talk this through. Give me a good reason why. Let's find out. Maybe we can get therapy or something together and figure this out. If it was somebody that was more in tune to her actual needs rather than trying to change her, I think she would be open to it. But I understand what you're saying about him wanting her so badly that that she's causing the insecurity. But I think that it is a mutual misstep for both of them, and it's because they're not paired according to where they are in their lives right now. That's just my opinion.
Like, I think she's gonna have to she's gonna have a hard time finding any man that's gonna be okay with her sleeping on any dude's couch when she's passed out drunk. Like that's gonna be a tough sell for a lot of people. Okay. So I don't know what she's gonna do there.
Agreed.
Good luck to that. I think to an extent, like they enhance one another's negativities or one another's flaws, and that's the unfortunate part, because sometimes you meet people and they jive well because they do bring out the best in one another, or where someone kind of lacks a little bit, the other one makes up for it, and it kind of like that's what makes them like a great team. But unfortunately with Virginia and Eric, they enhance one another's worst qualities. So it's like, yeah, she does not want to feel controlled, and then he wants to feel needed. And then that makes her back away, and then that makes him cling on more, and it's like this snowball effect of just like going downhill. Like it's really like sad to watch, because it's like I do feel like they both are good people, but they're both dealing with things that they need to address. Like they needed further like therapy. They needed like professional help on some of their deeper insecurities and deeper issues in order for them to be good partners for anyone. Because especially with Eric, like his insecurities of not feeling needed, like I kind of get that, but I also kind of get Virginia's side. It's like, some people, they want to feel needed, but some people want to feel wanted. Like they value feeling wanted more, because they feel like, okay, you don't just have me around because it, like, you can't find somebody else to be with you. Like you have me around because you actually want me. And then that actually validates them, right? So I think the way that they want to feel loved and the way that they need to feel loved, it's just not compatible with how one another expresses love, combined with like just fundamental, I guess, viewpoints as far as like how they see a relationship that works. She's gonna have to find someone that is okay with her sleeping on another dude's couch. Like that's going to be hard. And then the thing with the allergies, like to an extent, there is some selfishness there. There's some like resistance to her like wanting to combine her life with his. And to an extent, I do think that Eric is a bit more open to combining their lives, even though she kind of makes it seem that he's not. Yes, like living in his house is the more sensible thing to do in the moment. Like I know like it's not the most comfortable, but like sometimes you do have to make those compromises, and to an extent I feel like Virginia does not really want to compromise on a whole lot, and then that kind of makes it tough for Eric too. So it's just they go back and forth on it. But like I do see Eric's point in some ways, but then I also see Virginia's points on certain areas. But then when they combine, when they're together, they just enhance the worst sides. Yeah.
The mesh.
I agree. I agree with both of you. I also wish that we knew more about Virginia's past, because I feel like Eric is triggering something in her. If you remember, they said her mother left her, I think, in her junior or senior year of high school. So, and then they always talk about a tumultuous relationship between mom and dad, and they don't go into depth, but I feel like it must have been really bad, some sort of abuse for a mother to pretty much leave her high school child in whatever city she was in and leave and not come back. I guess thinking that their dad was raising her. Then Virginia falls out with dad, and then it's like she only has really her basketball team and I believe an aunt or someone who was there for her. So it seems like, number one, there's the abandonment, but also she attached to the basketball team. And that's, athletic behavior. You go out for drinks after a game, whatever it is. This is something now has been a pattern. I feel like that's why she's so attached to her friends. And I feel maybe, her dad was abusive to mom, whatever it was she saw. When Eric starts to give ultimatums and he starts trying to control or change her life in whatever way, she's like, oh, no, we're not going there. You know what I mean? I've seen that. I don't like that. And she's completely resistant to it. So I just wish that she was able to talk a little bit more about the past so we could see where some of this behavior came from. And also the drinking. Why is it such a crutch for her? Why is she doesn't even want to talk about it. I'm not, he talks about slowing down. Absolutely not. We're not even going to talk about it. I feel like she's a pretty complex woman. There's more there than what we've been shown on this season. So it would be interesting to find out where all these behaviors come from.
Good points. Yeah. Good points. Yeah. Both of them. Definitely. I hear what you're saying. Virginia's got that past that it would give us a bit more understanding in terms of, what she's facing, which is why I don't understand why she's on the show. I'm not saying people haven't got problems, but I'm just saying this was glaringly obvious, and they use it as an angle to character develop who Virginia was.
Right.
And I mean?
I agree. And I can see where Virginia is coming from, because in a normal relationship, when you start dating, you don't completely give up all of your friends. You might do the 3 days a week, you're drinking and everything. And then slowly, as your relationship becomes more serious, a few months down the line, you may say, okay, maybe this is crossing some boundaries. Maybe I shouldn't sleep on the couches anymore, but it's gradual. She wasn't ready for this show because it was like she stepped into something on a Saturday, and then on Monday she has somebody saying, oh no, you can't sleep on the couches anymore. You can't go out with your friends 3 times a week. So I can see how it can be shocking to her. Like, it seemed like she was a deer in headlights, because it's like, wait a minute, I'm not going to just stop being me. But if it was a normal relationship where she met somebody at the bar and then they were dating, those things happen gradually and normally. You know what I mean? You start to realize what normal, being in a normal relationship doesn't look like me doing this 3 times a week, So I can understand where she's coming from in that piece.
Yeah, I definitely hear you on that. Definitely hear you guys on that. What was our thoughts towards, obviously, Haley and Jacob finally, I guess, saying no? What was your guys' thoughts on that particular aspect of things? What was your guys' thoughts on that? To tea with tea, talk to us, man. What was your thoughts, Haley and Jacob?
I'm gonna be honest, I missed that segment of the show, but I did hear that they both said no, which we all knew. I was a little unsure the last episode because it seemed like Haley was kind of coming around, but I also was thinking, I know she doesn't like to fail at anything. She's very competitive. So if she did say yes, it would be because she was trying to save face a little bit and not come out looking like the mean girl that she is. But it was pretty apparent that they both would say no. I knew Jake was completely done a few weeks ago. He knows, he already felt, she doesn't find me attractive. There's no need for me to be in this. So I commend him for having what Paige doesn't have, which is some sort of self-respect. Listen, I'm not going to subject myself to somebody who's going to treat me this way, who isn't into me, who doesn't respect me. So I'm glad that he said no, and I'm glad that they're not together, because that would have just been a terrible relationship.
I'm with you on that. Light, go for it.
Yeah, I agree with that reality that he has a different take on everything than Paige, just kind of the opposite thing, and having that self-respect from the beginning, saying, no, I can't deal with this. But, the thing that caught me the week before, you guys on the super panel were talking about that something had happened and how flirty she was. Haley was with Jacob and all of that. I had the feeling that I thought was sort of like the worst thing that she could have been, of all the things she's done, that this was the worst, because I thought that she was trying to sort of flirt him up to give him a little bit of hope so that he might say yes, so that she wouldn't look like the bad guy. And I thought that was terrible, because of all of the things that she's done, I didn't ever find them to be intentional, but that felt intentional, if that's exactly what she was doing. So no, at that point though, when it comes to their decision, I, like most people, were, I wasn't surprised that they both said no. I thought that their reasons just kind of were, I don't even remember what they said, and I watched it. I just don't even remember because it just didn't matter. I think the thing that drew me back though was in the last meeting, the gathering of all of the couples together, when everyone says, "This is what I've learned," and Jacob once again says, "I haven't learned anything," and I continue to find that baffling. I mean, you even if you have figured out for yourself, now I know what I will not accept. Now I know that I'm strong enough not to accept something. But for you to have learned nothing, it just means to me that you just, I don't know what that means. So that was just my thought about it. It's like he he ended on a note where I kind of wanted to agree with Haley, because how could you have that attitude about it? But in the end, she was so not nice to him the whole time that I just can't.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. With you on that. Linda, what are you saying?
Haley's a narc too, so because honestly, I do feel like a part of her ego took a hit when Jacob didn't like fall all over, like trying to please her either. Because she does give me mean girl vibes, and I feel like I feel like a part of her was a little bitter that like Jacob wasn't a try hard either. Like he kind of peeped it, and he didn't like fall all over her like she was the princess, and she's the only one that deserved to like have anyone, go after her. She gave Jacob nothing after the third day, like zero. What does she really expect from this man? You're not attracted to him. You're not doing anything to facilitate that attraction. And why are you not attracted to him? Because you don't like his clothes, like just like her friend said, it's kind of a bit shallow. Like you just don't like his style, and he doesn't even dress that bad, to be honest. Like, yeah, he has quirky things in his closet. Probably she does too, but overall, like, have any of us seen him wear anything that's like truly outrageous? No, I haven't been shocked by any of his clothing choices. So like, what really is there? And I feel like she felt like she was better than him, and she felt like she probably could do better than him outside of the show in real life. But sweetie, 7 years has proved you haven't, like, come on, girl, 7 years. So, and she's young too, like since 21 to 27. That's a pretty lengthy period of time. Those are like, I'm not going to say that those are your like best years, but those are pretty good years to like be dating, be like potentially in, one or two maybe more serious relationships. So like she really needs to examine like what happened there, and not just look at Jacob like he's inadequate, because honey, what happened on your end too? Like she treats Jacob like he is beneath her. She's treated him like that the whole time. Like even though I remember certain conversations that they had where she was just like, "So what have you been doing the last 10 years that you've been here? So what's happened? Like you've just been dating," and just like it's almost like she was judging him like he doesn't have a life, like he's a loser, and she's been like traveling and doing other stuff. And I'm just like, you're not that interested either, Haley. What do we know about you? What have you been doing with your life? Oh, going to eat tacos here and there, or like, try different countries here and there. Like she doesn't give much either. Like I think that a lot of us, most of us, no, I would say a good portion of people do hold themselves in very high esteem and put themselves on pedestals and think that they are better than they are, or like more deserving as far as like in a dating world. People think that they can do much better because of this illusion of like having options, right? And that's partially what keeps people from good relationships. It's like this illusion of like having so many options, and there, you can always do better than whoever you're currently with, and you can always get better. But I think sometimes you need to take a look in the mirror and really have that self-reflection. And as much as Haley thinks that she has learned something from all of this, I don't think she's learned anything. She said she's learned to communicate. I don't think so, because we would have seen that growth with Jacob. If you really learned to communicate, how come we're at the end of this experiment and y'all are barely talking? You still can barely communicate. How have you learned to communicate? You threw that bracelet back at him. Was that good communication there? Like you'd even acknowledge, if you really have learned how to communicate better, you would have acknowledged that it wasn't really about the bracelet. You would have been able to like take something away from how Jacob was truly feeling in that situation. So no, you haven't learned how to communicate. You haven't learned how to empathize. So to me, like, and she even thinks that she's better than Jacob because in her mind, she thinks that she has learned from this and he hasn't learned anything. So my feelings were correct. Like she even said that in her confessional. She was like, the fact that he can't even say that he's learned something from all of this, like really validates my feelings. And it's almost like, yeah, because she really does think that she is better than Jacob. And like she thinks that he should kowtow to her. And like you should be able to say that you learned something from this because I can say that I learned something from this. So therefore, you like you can't even say that you learned something from this. Oh my God. And it's just like this better than thou attitude that's like, honey, like please, she needs to come down several pegs and take a look at the mirror and really self-reflect on the situation because Jacob did not deserve all of that. And her entitlement in the situation, you know, he has a right to feel how he feels. He has a right to sit with his feelings. And if he's feeling kind of bitter because he has a right to be, he has a right to feel a little bitter about the situation because he came in with good intentions. He brought you this bracelet, like his heart, he put his kind of heart out there before he even met you. And you freaking squashed on it. Like he has a right to be in his feelings a little bit. Like, and I don't think it was fair to like try to criticize him for not being able to, you know, make you satisfied and tell you what he learned out of the situation where he's the one who's hurting right now. So he doesn't owe you any explanation about what he's learned right now. Like he deserves to take time to himself and rebuild himself in whatever way, you know, whatever time frame is necessary for him. So all of that entitlement to me is just like, that is what I just don't really like too much about Haley. She's very entitled, and that's partially why, in my opinion, she might have a difficult time in relationships.
Good points. Good points. Anybody else want to add before we go to a close with Haley and Jacob?
Yeah, quickly. I agree with everything Linda said, but I like to, jump on the side of the antagonist. I think that there is something about Jacob that she is not telling us. We do see his social awkwardness. Maybe this is why he hasn't had a serious relationship in the last 10 years. There's something that may be repelling women to him. We have seen her try to have, normal conversations with him, and it just falls flat. He gives like one answer. If he answers, he'll give like a one-word answer. There isn't much charisma there. People like Jacob. We like him because he seems nice. People think he's attractive because he's kind of muscle bound. To me, he looks a little bit older than his age, but I don't really find him attractive. But there's something that happened on that third day when they hooked up that she probably respects him enough not to tell the public, but something happened that turned her completely off. You know what I mean? Granted, she was nasty and she was nasty in all these different ways, but maybe there is something about Jacob that isn't really appealing that we just don't know about.
Good points. Good points. Yeah. No, I can't. I mean, that third day still is bewildering to me too. I'm not sure what happened on the third day. You know what I mean? But Jesus resurrected on the third day. So hey ho, things do happen on the third day. I'm not sure what happened on that day. I'm not sure, but it's obviously clearly turned her off enough to the point where she literally turned all the lights out, switched the engine off, and said, "Listen, this is me. I'm not going to be moving anywhere." So I don't know what could have happened. Maybe one day she'll do an expose. Who knows? Maybe this was always going to be her disposition. We don't know. Something obviously clearly happened that took us to that point. So yeah, I'm not sure what to say about that, to be honest. Not sure. Yeah, I don't want to speculate, you know what I mean? I don't want to speculate, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, but yeah, once again, ladies, thank you so much for letting us have this kind of good, candid conversation. You guys have brought some really great points and enriched the conversation today. Yeah, man, you've done a good job today. So I really, really appreciate how you guys have expounded, especially the Chris and Paige conversation. I think that was a really good expansion on that topic as well. So appreciate you guys so much as well. So Linda, Light, Reality T, okay, with T, yeah. Reality, sorry. I keep saying it wrong. I need to get people's names right. Reality with T. Me and names, yeah. Hey. I'll even call the queen Quine. I'll really Queen Elizabeth. I'll mess up the queen's name at this rate, man. So sorry, reality with T. Apologies.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for having us, Kojo.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, no,
same
no,
here.
no,
Thank
no.
you.
Thanks for this whole thing. This your panel and your videos are the things that made me more interested in this show. And I just appreciate how you guys have the level of discussion that you guys have. So thank you.
Well, I hope you guys are ready for July because we go again. So save your energy. In 2 months' time, we'll see you again. We'll be back here, hopefully a little bit lighter. All right.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye.
Guys. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you, man.
Bye.
Appreciate it, light as well. Much love. So, guys, yes, guys, it's time for super panel time. Listen, listen, do you know what was wild? Yeah, is that we watched it together. And do you know what? I'm loving my family, but I love them even more the other night when we watched it together. There's something about sitting around the TV together and watching a show and just enjoying together. You know what I'm saying? Like we sat there, we watched it, and it was hilarious. And so I appreciate the team as always. They take time out of their schedule. Do you know what I'm saying? To be a part of this, and so I've got so much love for them. You know, take 4 or 5 hours out your day to come on here and share your opinions and your thoughts, and I appreciate my super panel team for that as always. You guys will, we've got some great content creators also on the team. If you don't know, okay, all right. If you haven't been following them, guys, I hope you guys are gonna start following them. Okay, all right. You guys know we have Maria and Lola, okay, already with their channels as well. I want you guys, the same way you give me appreciation and love, I want you guys to follow their channels as well. I also have one more extra person. I'm also gonna introduce him too. I know he's got a channel as well. You guys know him already. All right, sourcing. Every time you see him, I see the comments how they go after him. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I really want you guys to support the panelists, not only on this channel, but when they have their own channel as well. Whenever they've got a live or anything like that, guys, flock to their stuff as well. All right. Yeah, that's how we grow. You know what I'm saying? It's a community thing around here. But I'm gonna introduce my panelists. That a few of them will be coming a little bit later. Don't worry about that. Hold on a second, 2 seconds. Wait there. Just 2 seconds. Yes. So obviously, yes. So I'm gonna introduce my team. Araba, I don't know why you're in the comment section. If you're not here, Araba, get behind the scenes, Araba. Okay, I can see you commenting. All right, cool. So I'm gonna introduce my team. Jossie, much love for that as well. Much love for that. Much love for that. Much love for that. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. All right, cool. So listen, I like to do my introductions to my people. Then you understand, yeah. Now I spoke about the two ladies first, obviously with their channels, but this is another gentleman who also has his channel. Listen, he's also doing lives as well. He did some earlier on as well. I appreciate him for that. David, you're in the chat as well. Get behind the scenes. I've sent the thing to you, David. You better be on today. But I really appreciate this gentleman, do you know what I'm saying? Because he puts work rate in also. He does hard work, okay? He's not just good looking, okay? All right? He's a smart individual, you know what I'm saying? Right? And I enjoy his conversation, you know what I'm saying? So the melanin is tick with this guy, you understand? The intelligence is tick with this guy, you understand? The bars are tick with this guy, you understand? And the humor, let's not talk about the humor, okay? The only one that can make a serious topic humorous, bruv. You understand? Didi, welcome to the stage, baby. Hey, Didi.
Thank you very much, Kojo, but I really appreciate it. But every time you say that, I think you're talking about Bob Marley, not me.
Why would you think I'm talking about Bob Marley, bruv?
Yeah, because I mean, Bob Marley say one love, so one love, brother.
I'm done out here, Captain. I'm done out here. I appreciate you guys.
I appreciate you. Yeah, well, my channel, like I say, I'll tell everybody on your channel, subscribe at your own risk, because I have a few callers, and well, at least one caller on my channel. Ooh. Subscribe at your own risk. That's all I can say.
You said subscribe at your own risk, ladies. You understand?
Yes, subscribe at your own risk.
Yeah.
I maintain that. Thank you very much, Kojo. I enjoy being on your platform.
I appreciate you, bro. It's much love. It's much love. Listen, also, my next person, you know what I'm saying? When I say I'm I'm married to where the money resides, you know what I'm saying? You should already know who's coming to the stage. You feel me? Now, I know you guys scream out her name when she comes on the stage. When she's not there, you scream her name. Do you know what I'm saying? Whenever you guys get a chance, you want to scream this person's name. You be asking. In fact, I haven't seen the person in the chat. There's one person especially who screams Kenny, asking for where Kenny is every time we do a live. DA Reach is not here today. DA Reach normally is the one that screams, "Where's Kenny?" She's a devoted person that supports Kenny. You understand? So I want you guys to give a warm welcome to the intelligent, the melanated, the beautiful. You understand? The smarts. Kenny, baby. Kenny.
Oh, Kojo, you fit gas person head, man. Like, yo, Paige needs to come on your show. She'll walk away with self-esteem. Like, you gas her. Then nothing that Chris says, no weapon formed against her will prosper if Paige comes here, man. Like, you be gassing people. I mean, you're great for our self-esteem. Hey, Dee. Oh man, it's so good to be here. It's so good to see everyone. I see Shanae in the chat. I see
Shanae's just coming around the scene as well. Yeah.
Holding down the fort, the Mineral Gang family. It's good to see everyone. Look, I was afraid to come on panel today because I know that the last panel that I was on about Ready to Love, yo. They turned me into coleslaw. They shredded me.
Yo, they got at you. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
They turned me. They said, "Is she single? That's why she can't get a man." Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, look, fam. I'm watching the same TV you guys are watching. Okay, when they come and give Kojo exclusive interview, you are just as much the wiser as I am at that point. You cannot come into the comments and then say the super panel is blah 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 blah. We are all watching the editors edit, and we have to react to what we're seeing. But it's all love. It's all love. It's all love. Everybody is a Monday quarterback, right? So. Everybody knows how to play the game when the whistle has already been blown. It's okay.
Look at your fans already saying who came for you. They're ready to defend you. Like there's no tomorrow.
Love you guys. Love you guys. It's all fun. It's not supposed to be super serious, man. Like it's all fun.
Don't worry, Kenny. They love you. They're gonna back you up to the day. Don't worry, to the hills.
Love you guys. I appreciate it. I
appreciate you too, man. Love Ken. Yes. So my next person I'm gonna introduce to the stage. Hey, baby. Listen, let me tell you something. Yeah. This word. Yeah. There's two words I'm gonna use together. Okay. Orgasm. Now, don't take it the wrong way. Okay. Don't take it the wrong way. Okay. Don't take it the wrong way. Don't take it the wrong way. We Christians here. Okay. I'm just describing the sound, the SFX. You understand? The soothing waters that flow. Do you know what I'm saying? I think when the person sang "As the Deer Panteth for the waters that puff my soul," I think he was also reminded that the sound of the soothing waters that he heard was of a certain person's voice. You understand? This person's voice. When I hear that song, I start thinking about the way they speak. That's how I see that person. So I want you guys to welcome to the stage, Shanae, baby. Gang. Cheese. You television, man.
Kojo, you own an Exxon, a Chevron, a 76, a Arco. You own all the gas stations because it's all petroleum. Kojo be gassing it on 1,000. It's all love.
Love, man. Love. I hope you got your poster tied today. I hope you got it with you today.
Oh, you know what?
You better go and grab that, girl. Go and grab your thing.
Let me. I'll be right back.
You be right back. Okay. Appreciate you. Yes. I got my other two people. I know the rest will be coming soon as well, so don't worry about that. But you know what? This lady here, has been shelling. Okay, has been killing it. Not only on this platform, but has also been killing it on her own platform. You understand? Bringing fresh waters. You understand? Fresh new topics to the table. Do you understand? Not only is she intelligent, not only is she smart. Do you understand? Not only is she beautiful too at the same time, but she also wants a man that will fight 4 other men before they can marry her. Do you understand? What she wants to see is a display of masculinity, old school masculinity, in order for you to marry her. So I want you to understand who I'm bringing to the stage right now, okay? I want you to give a warm welcome to the beautiful Maria, baby. Cheese.
Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, like that intro was like BP gas station. Like we have a shortage in America because Kojo took all the gas and just poured it on these introductions. Like no cap, okay, no cap. Like y'all, like appreciate you. Hey Janae, hey Dee Dee, hey Kenny, love y'all.
Love you too.
Rob was like, let me jump on so she can get the hype too. Yeah,
Rob will fold that laundry. That laundry will fold itself.
It will fold itself. Just jump on. Don't worry. You understand? I'll give you your
Where's individual? Individual. I see.
I've sent him the individual. Individual is taking long. I've sent him the link now. He's got
individual.
No
come on, individual yourself in here. Come on now.
Come and bring yourself. You understand? Listen. This person. Listen. Because that's what has to happen whenever this person's coming around. Listen. You understand? Yeah. We don't clap for this person. We click fingers. You understand? We don't clap for this person. We click fingers. You understand? When the smoke begins to arise, understand fire is close by. You understand? When this person begins to speak, we all just open ear. Everybody settles. This is the OG. The original, the gangster, you understand? The beautiful, the amazing, the elusive, tongue twister. Listen, there's not enough descriptive words that I can use to bring this person to the table. Do you understand? Yeah, but you'll definitely hear her before you see her because the words are sharp. You understand? I'm sure when the Bible was saying two-edged sword, you understand that he was thinking, my daughter Lola. You understand? It's the one when she speaks. That's what you see there. Lola, welcome to the stage. Oh. Hey.
Those are raps. Like I was like, who is he called? Like who's coming up next? Like I'm trying to see who else is in there. What? Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much,
the
sir.
Streets are not safe. Hey, Lola.
Grab your daughters, grab your wives.
Grab them all. For real.
Man,
was
what's
on
up,
the
guys?
prowl.
Good to see you. It's good to see everyone. We've been out in these YouTube streets all day, but it's all cool. It's another lineup. We have.
You've been working hard. You've been working hard. I see that. The whole team has been working hard. You know.
So good to see you.
Good seeing you, though, man.
So who else is coming? Like you said, they were signing up. They're coming.
Individuals coming in. I see a Robert's coming in. They'll be coming after.
I see a Robert in chat. So yeah,
she's folding still. She's still folding. We'll let her fold. Don't worry. The rest of them will come. They'll come. Yeah, the rest of them will come. Don't worry. You guys are enough of a super panel as it is already. There's already heat I can feel. So let me open up the conversation because we watched it live, right? We watched it live together. Most of us did. I think. No, were you there? Did you watch it?
I was at work. Oh,
he's at work. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so the rest of us watched it live, right? And we all watched it together. We had our thoughts.
That was fun.
It was. I can't lie. It was. So I want to kick it off strong. I know we had a really deep conversation about Chris and Paige, but I want to know your thoughts because I think the interesting conversation actually wasn't Chris and Paige. It was the Eric and the Virginia conversation that you guys even highlighted some of the stuff. And so I want to get your viewpoints. Erica and Virginia, what was your sentiment? What was your thoughts about that scenario and that scene where not even just the Eric giving the ring, but in general, just them two having their decision day? What was your thoughts there? I'll go to my left. Smoke artist. Go on, smoke artist. Go for it.
Who, me?
Oh yeah.
So you know what? You know these two people. We had suggested, I think on Dee Dee's channel, we had suggested they don't do it because it'll be the War of the Roses. Because the thing is, even when he proposed or brought out that little plastic thing he was holding, a little circle, I don't know if you guys noticed, there was like a flash. I don't know if it's editing, but she looked like a deer caught in headlights. Like, oh snap. Is he proposing? And then she recovered and then said yes. I don't feel like she was for it, but maybe she didn't want to embarrass him, or she's trying to pull, what's that, your friend Hollywood's girl? Like she said yes, but she knew she meant no. It's not
Ashley.
going to last.
Yeah, Ashley, yeah.
It's Ashley, that I'm not buying it at all. Can she handle him? Yes, she can handle him. But does she want to? They see marriage as two different things. So what does she want? Yeah, I don't see it for these two. I mean, I never know why the specialists were clapping. Like they got to a point where like, oh yeah, they stood up trying to, what? And they didn't say anything. I thought they would be more honest with them because they clearly have issues. Yes, we know that Eric is like pining for her for some reason. I guess he wants like a little young thing with him, but they don't really mesh that well. They want different things. They're not suitably suited. So I don't know. I feel in the next 3 months, we're going to hear something. They'll be done. I don't see it. I don't know what you guys saw, but I don't see it for them. It was just nice. I mean, and the thing was all drawn out so long that we, like, by the end of it, like, in fact, I spent my time admiring the outfits. Like, what's her name? Dr. V's outfit that she wore 2 days in a row. I didn't notice that until early on today. Like, it was day one, nice dress, but at the end of it, I was just tired. But yeah, Eric, I mean, he's getting what he wants now, he thinks. Virginia, on the other hand, I'm not sure why she felt compelled to say yes when she meant no. But I get it. Like, I won't say I'm mean, but I would feel sorry for him too. It's in public, it's on camera. Of course, she feels inclined to say yes when she knows in a month or two, she can go back and sign and say, no, I don't want this. I don't see these two lasting. I think this series is coming to a close because they're beginning to just throw people together. Maybe it was COVID. I don't know. They have another season coming up. It might be better. But yeah, that's it for these two.
Let's hope so. Appreciate Smoke Artist. Maria, what are you saying?
Yeah, they're a hot mess. I think that they are really fooling themselves, lying to themselves. Virginia know good and well she was a deer in headlights, did not want to say yes. And like, what is with these corny proposals on decision day? Like, what was that, a rubber band? Like, what was that? It was like a pink little like thing that you can get from the dollar store. Like, I don't even know what that was. Was it like a screw stopper? Like, what was that? And I feel like these corny proposals on decision day, because like, you got to think about it. Decision day is a day you're making a statement. You are making a statement that is declarative, that has impact, that is a moment in time, right? And if you come with a corny proposal like that, like, I feel like it's a reflection of your fakeness of the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know that you're uneasy about this relationship, but you want to propose. Y'all can't even go 24 hours without arguing at least 6 times. I remember they were in the car. Virginia said, we already fought like 6 times today. How, Sway? How? And yeah, like, Eric, he's just doing this grand gesture, whatever he thinks that it is, which is petty and whack at that. And just to like control her and reel her in. And I remember like when we were talking about them, we kept saying how he's trying to use her insecurity against her by saying like, oh, you know, I'm going to threaten to leave and threaten to leave. He wasn't thinking that was her insecurity. That's his insecurity. Like, he is deathly afraid of someone leaving him. So he knows how he feels about it. And he's like, yo, you know, I'm going to threaten her with this because this is like the worst thing ever. And yeah, she does happen to deal with abandonment issues as well. But after watching his dialogue on decision day where he's like declaring like, I can't let nobody leave me again, I can't get my heart broken ever again, like, you're demanding these things as though Virginia is responsible for making you feel secure, like, about your own like level of security in this relationship. That's a lot of responsibility you are putting on her, when you need to be putting that responsibility on yourself and do some self-work and maybe take some responsibility for your own part that you've played in sabotaging your relationships. Because he's done a whole lot of sabotaging this whole time. And I'm upset. Like, I don't know if it's like a production situation, like if, you know, they cut parts out that we didn't see, but why didn't I hear more from Virginia? I feel like I'm walking away from this not knowing how she truly feels. And like her facial expressions, like you said, those emotional leaks, right? Her facial expressions betrayed that she was like uneasy about this whole thing, you know, but because he like made this, you know, gesture to like propose to her with a rubber band, like she feels like she has to save him in that moment. So I don't know, like I just feel like they're toxic. They're going to continue to be toxic. They said yes today, but I don't see how it could actually work and be a healthy situation in the long run. Hey, David.
Good points. Hey, David. Unlike David. He's not David, David. Diddy, talk to me, man. What are you saying, bro? What was your thoughts? I'm already laughing because I'm sure he's going to say something.
Beyonce got that song, Must Be Love on the Brain, right? I think, what's the name? Virginia got Must Be Vodka on the Brain, because Virginia couldn't be bothered with those people. Honestly, she wasn't. All of what Virginia wanted was for those people to get over it, that's so she can go and have a drink. But the thing about her I noticed is when she don't drink, she's more tactical. Like she, well, yeah, sorry, Rihanna. Somebody said it's Rihanna, my bad. But she's more tactical as to the way she think when she's not drinking. And I think maybe if she slows down the drinking, she might see more of Eric. Because what she does, she drinks and hides the problems that they have. And Eric, oh boy, that man is so calculative. That man is very manipulative and very, very calculative. And I think he has that depredation of failure because his parents have been married. His parents seem to be the the American family that they're married, they have this long marriage and it works. And he just has that fear that he doesn't want to fail. And he also has that military background. So to them, failure is not an option. So that's why he goes to that extent of, with that nonsense with the ring. And like he looked like he was so nervous. Like if she said no, he looked like he would have become an alcoholic if she said no. But he looked like he was so nervous that if she said no, that he to himself he failed. But I think long term they will not work. Long term they will not work. They will have problems. Like I say, he will not be able to go with that. She waking up on a friend's couch. She want to be out drinking. She wants to do stuff with her friends more than she wants to do stuff with him. But let's just see how it goes. But for me, like I said, long term they will not work, and then they really need to fix the problems, because moving forward, and also the Dr. Pepper, Pastor Carl, and what's her name, Dr. Viv. I was really disappointed in the reaction as to when when they told them chose to stay together. I was really, because the kind of fire they brought for Paige and Chris. They brought a lot of fire, and then for Virginia and Eric, they were like, "Oh, let's pop some champagne," and like a celebration for what? The toxicity. Like, what was the celebration for? So that's what I think about the two of them. But she better stop drinking and start seeing what he's doing, because eventually, when she sees it, it might be too late for her.
Good points. Good points. Thank you, Didi. Kenny and obviously Shanae. Let me ask a question to you guys and kind of. What is the issue behind? I want to specify it. So what's the problem behind him offering, let's say, a ring on that day? I mean, he loves her, he cares for her. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants to be with her. What's the problem if a man wants to propose to the girl on the decision day? What's the big deal behind that? You know what I'm saying? Is the brother not just trying to love his girl? You know what I'm saying? Or what's the big deal behind that? Kenny, what are you saying?
Can you go to Shanae first?
Okay, no worries. Shanae, go for it.
There's nothing wrong conceptually with doing that, Kojo. But when we think about the context of Eric and Virginia's relationship, and specifically when we highlight Eric's extreme fear of rejection,
okay,
you can read through the manipulation that grand gesture was stemming from. It wasn't about, I want to get on one knee and really propose to you. It really was, if you remember, Pastor Cal called out how much nervous energy Eric brought into the meeting. And he was like, are you nervous? Right? And so I was like, oh, okay. So he's just beaming with it. And I can see where in Eric's mind, he's thinking, I really can't deal with being told no, especially in front of these experts and especially on national TV. So I know what I'm going to do, because he knows Virginia, right? Haven't we been saying that he plays against her weaknesses and kind of plays against her triggers? So he's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a big grandiose gesture, get down on one knee, propose. It's going to be pretty hard for her to not accept that proposal, right? Without looking like this horrible person in his mind. And then for him, he's like, whew, all right, I got a yes. That buys me a few more months till, whatever. So that's my answer to your question. There's not anything wrong conceptually with it. We saw Woody do it last year with, I forgot her name. What was Woody's wife last season?
Imani.
Imani.
Because it ran out of my head. It ran out of my head too.
Thank you, Maria. I don't think anyone saw it. If I remember correctly, I think a lot of the fans saw it as endearing and sweet and precious, right? But notice how it's because we can see the energy that Woody was bringing, and we saw how their relationship was up until that point. And we've done the same with Eric and Virginia. It was a manipulative ploy to not get rejected.
I get it. Okay. Marie, open your mic to say something quickly, and then I'll go to Kenny. Go for it. You want to talk on that particular question?
Yeah, because first of all, I agree with Shanae. The act in itself is fine. All the couples that we've seen do it right were Woody and Imani, and that one white couple from the season. They were in love or whatever. I forgot what their names are. But they had real rings, okay? And that's why I was making that correlation earlier, is because it's you are not sure in this relationship, Eric. You even said before you proposed, I have no idea if she's gonna say yes. You betray your true intentions every single time. You are just trying to use this to feed your own insecurities about the relationship. That's the only reason why you're proposing to her. You just want to not be left. And it's sad, so when you're proposing under false pretenses or proposing to control the person just so you're afraid of being alone or whatever the case, it's not a real proposal. It's not authentic, and it's a reflection of your insecurity in the relationship. That there's stuff that could potentially be deal breakers for both of y'all, which there are a lot. They don't agree on basically anything. So yeah.
Good point. So basically what Shanae is saying is obviously nothing wrong with the actual proposal in on its own, but because of what we've seen with Eric and Virginia and the fact that he's has voiced verbally a numerous amount of times how he's scared of losing her, it can be it's looked at as a manipulative tactic to kind of almost keep her in place in a sense as well, which I get. I wanted to have that, to kind of bring that out, just because obviously other people might be thinking, you might be like, oh, well, you guys are going extra, but this is why we was thinking what we was thinking. So just kind of bring that out as well. Kenny, go for. I mean, I don't know if you're ready to go for it, Kenny. I kind of called you out, but
yeah, you don't call me out so many times.
I know, we're calling you out, man.
No, all good. I completely agree with everything Maria and Shanae said. They already said it all. Like, there's nothing wrong with the act in and of itself. It's just the motive and the intention behind it. I think there's a huge difference between his proposal and Bree and Vinny's proposal. Like, Vinny gave Bree specifically something that resonated with her, right? As opposed to Eric bombarding Virginia with this grandiose thing, right? And you can see by her body language, everything is just like, okay, closed mouth smile, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but you have to know your partner. I don't know that after the first gift giving, Eric and Virginia ever really aligned on each other's interests and love languages and things like that. And that proposal just seems to be in line with that.
Okay. Totally hear you. Totally hear you. I don't know if David's ready. I don't know if David, are you ready? I don't know if you're ready, bro. You gang. Good to see you again, David.
What's up, man? Hit me.
David, this is the artist, of the group. David, son, he paints, pictures with 1,000 words, guys. Yeah. So when you hear him, just be ready for him. Right, David, go for it, my friend.
Yo, this whole dynamic between the two of them is it's actually kind of sad. I feel like what I said before about them in terms of their dynamic and in terms of it being like a daddy-daughter dynamic still rings true, but even more so in a more sinister kind of way, because his tactics are clear to us. And actually, I think they might be clear to her as well. Like, I don't think she's necessarily like blinded by anything. Of course, her feelings and emotions are involved, but I think she knows what's going on because when she, again, like Dee Dee said, like when she's not drinking, she has a lot of clarity and she knows exactly how to be able to assert herself as well. But it seems as if she's reluctant to say no, especially with the positions that he puts her in. It's almost as if he's playing chess with her, in the sense of like his manipulation is to do certain things that he knows will push her buttons. And though she can see exactly the moves that he's making, it's hard for her to be able to push back without looking like she's being defensive or trying to push him away or trying to sabotage, because it's already been made clear that she has had a past of that. So she's also struggling within herself and against him at the same time. She can't win the battle on both fronts. So I think it's very interesting how he moves, and I honestly don't think they're gonna make it. Like, even from the previews, like it doesn't seem like things exactly went well, though, they said yes now. That's a continuous thing. That's something you have to say every day. Like, it's a continuous thing you have to work at. And I don't think they will continue to work at that because they have a lot of passion. I'm not sure if they have longevity because of what they're doing with each other. It feels like a game almost, where like, yes, there's sexual tension, but then when there's not sexual tension, there's actual like emotional tension. So I'm not sure how long that will last, to be honest.
Good points. Like I said, 1,000 words, painting the picture as always, Dave. Thank you, David. Yeah, I mean, really good points. I think everyone's kind of rounded it up quite correctly as well. And I think with Eric and Virginia, I think what we're kind of speaking again, it's our opinions, guys, by the way. But just what we're kind of saying, obviously, I think what we're seeing is a lot of the behaviors that Eric is exhibiting. It's very interesting because we might have spoke about this, I think, in our back in the group chat that we have about the blue therapy situation with Paul and Choma, which is that the same energy. It's just that it's not as overt, right? With the guy who's insecure, and it leads into controlling behaviors. And I think that's what we're kind of seeing from Eric, is that when you allow your fears to lead you, it does go into crippling the person that you're with. When you're fearful, you make moves that are to try and control the environment that's around you. And so some of the behaviors we're seeing from Eric are controlling. That's that simple, you know what I mean? And manipulative, because you are trying to hold the situation in the way that you want it to be. So when we're seeing obviously Eric doing when I watched it, I was like, bro, why are we doing the ring thing right now? My girl hasn't even said her piece yet, sir. And I think because obviously we've seen them through the whole few weeks, bro, you've been saying, and vehemently, not even like he's been saying it lightly, I can leave it whenever I want to leave. I can leave whenever I want to leave. I can leave whenever. I'm like, bro, if you can leave whenever you want to leave, why are we here at this moment in time? You on one knee now dropping bars about marry me. Like, so that's we're seeing this inconsistency of messages from Eric. And the reason why is because he's operating in fear. And when you operate in fear, this will always be the result. You have an inconsistency to your behavior, and then it becomes controlling and it becomes dark. You know what I mean? Like you just got tentacles everywhere. Everything you want to control, and it's getting a bit some way. So hopefully Eric and Virginia, they will Kenny trying to serve us up, baby. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to distract me. He said that in between half my sentence. You know what I'm saying? What you're not gonna do is do that halfway through my sentence, girl. Looking all spicy. All right. Now, obviously, we'll see what happens with Erica and Virginia as well. As the show goes on. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I just have one last thing I want to say.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier about like the words matching the actions.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like I feel like this ties back to that in a lot of ways because we talk about how Eric love bombs Virginia, right? But his actions say otherwise in terms of, do you really love her? Like you keep saying that you love her and that you cherish her and all this stuff, but you don't act like that. Because when you love a person, even the way you speak to them, because love is like, when you love a person, you don't want to hurt this person intentionally. When you love something, you cherish it. You want to protect it. You want to grow it. You want it to nurture and flourish. And so when you are tearing something down and you are, basically treating it in a way that actually is harmful, that's not you showing true love. And so when we look at Virginia, she knew that, they have issues, but she fell for it because I think she's still kind of confused about the words matching the actions. She thinks that because the words are being spoken, that there's some truth to it. But she knows that she's not seeing the actions come through. And she keeps calling him out on it, but she's so distracted by these words that she can't quite make the delineation. So I just wanted to say that, and like, ladies, like, it's a bar that Kojo said earlier, like really listen to the advice that he's giving because the words need to match the actions and vice versa.
Good point. Lodi, you want to say something about words and action? Go for it.
I just want to give Kenny a shout out. She looking like a 5-course meal. Yo, I told you about the ladies on this panel. I know we're talking about something serious, but this is serious too. Like, Kenny, you looking nice. You looking fly.
You guys are too sweet. Honestly, thank you so much. I was feeling bad. I was like, why am I the only black box? I went to go wash my face.
We appreciate the effort you brought. Your skin is
let me go wash my face.
Shining.
Thank you. It's the moisturizer.
It's working.
Kenny, we can see you staying hydrated, honey.
That glow is glowing.
Gang. But you know what? Good points from Maria in terms of talking about obviously words versus action. Let me ask two gentlemen as well on the panel. Then we did mention about this earlier on, and maybe we can have a discussion about it because it's also a part of the show as well. Words versus action. I'll go Didi and I'll go to David. But Didi, words and actions. For you, when you hear words and actions in terms of relationships, what does that signal in your head? What does that trigger in your mind, in a sense? Words and actions.
Well, like they say, actions speak louder than words. So that's how I take it. Like, you cannot say something and then you don't do it, or you don't show any. Like, okay, you cannot say something and then your actions show differently. So that's what I got from it. So then if you say something, your actions go a long way, because I can just say, okay, tomorrow I can say I ain't coming in the super panel anymore. And then I stick to it. But then I cannot do that because I love my family. So then I say I'm gonna come. You understand what I'm saying? So then you cannot say something and then you don't your actions show differently. So that's what I got from it. Just
Love that. David, talk to me. I mean, ask a slightly different question for you. What are the implications for anybody, I guess, on the opposite end of when someone is saying, let's say, I love you, but not showing that they love you. Like when the words are not matching, like what's the implication like in terms of that, in that regard and stuff?
They might be manipulated, but I think for those people who are on the other end, I think they should. I mean, when you say actions are louder than words, that is true, right? But then sometimes people have some very extravagant actions in the moment that seem like they matter. So I think when it comes to the actions, I think there should be more focus on the patterns, like overall over a long period of time. Because if a person does a certain action that really pushes your buttons down, like how I don't want to bring them up, but how we've seen with Paige and Chris, that action can mean a lot to you in the moment. However, if you look at the wider scope of things and how things pop up over time, you should be able to analyze and say, okay, over time, how has this person treated me? And then how does that match up with what they've told me? Because if the two don't match up, then you know that you have a problem because you're confused. If you are confused about the way a person is treating you as compared to the way that they talk to you, then that's probably not a relationship that you need to be close with that person in, because they're giving a lot of mixed signals. When a person is actually real about how they feel about you, over time, their actions will show that, yes, I'm in this because I want to be with you. That doesn't even just resonate in romantic relationships, that's in friendships as well. If you have a friend that's in and out and you can't really rely on them, then how close is that friend to you? Because over time, they have shown you a certain pattern. In romantic relationships, it's the same way. This is actually a close friend that you have who you happen to be attracted to. If this person is showing you a pattern of that they're not reliable or that their actions aren't matching up over time, then you know that, okay, this person isn't somebody that I probably should be close to because they haven't proven themselves to me via the patterns that they've shown me over time. That's where my mind goes.
I don't know if any ladies want to add to that. The word patterns there is a good word. Go for it, Lola. You want to add to it? Good
So,
word,
yeah, it's true that when you're with someone, if you're paying attention, if you have some sense, and if you're mature, you should be looking at those things and not ignoring those kind of red flags. But the truth is, nothing has really changed from the 8 weeks. So why would he think he could continue doing that? One. And then two, I don't want us to think that this girl is a dummy, because she's not. She knows what she's doing. Yes, she's a drunkard probably 4 days a week. But those other 3 days, she's on top of her game. There's something else she's getting from this. Now, maybe whatever, the trigger, something is feeding. She's getting a payoff here, and that's why she's doing it. Because otherwise, she would have just probably exited the stage left a while ago. First of all, think about it like this. She's had a situation with her father, and she's confirmed that this guy is like her father. So that might be what's drawing her to him. Second of all, they do have some kind of sexual chemistry, sexual attract, whatever it is, that's kind of making her tap into it. And thirdly, even though she's playing along like he's controlling her, because it would appear to be so, she's also playing her own game, because not only on the show did she say that she put like her dog and her friends as her number one, and I think her sister-in-law kind of clocked that. But he also realizes that. He said that before he bent on his knee. He said, I know I'm not in the number one position, but he's still willing to go for it. So they're both getting something out of it, but it's not the basic thing you'd expect to get out of a marriage. So there's a payoff for her. I don't know what it is. I don't think she's looking for money, but there's something, maybe sometimes they say when you marry a partner, that person is for you to heal your childhood traumas. And so there's a similarity between her and her dad. And there's something, I don't know if she knows consciously why she's drawn to him, but it might be that, because it makes no sense. And my sister is not a dummy. She can go toe to toe to him. She's not that scared of him. So, I mean, maybe it's time for her to heal. This marriage may not be her forever, but it might be the marriage that might help her heal. Because I'm not worried for her. Worst case scenario, she'd probably shoot him. Her brothers would come and bury the body and cut it up. No, I mean, she's got a whole crew. She's from the South. She's got her. Come on. Remember the scene when she got disrespected and then she was pumping up, homie, like, yo, with my brothers and my dad and cha. Bro had to put his chest out and said, okay, I'm going to go talk to him. Come on, sis knows what she's doing, but she's playing the long game. Karens are clear on their game. She's got a good game plan. So I don't want y'all to be feeling sorry for her. Nah, G has a plan. Or maybe her spirit has a plan and wants to heal. I don't know, but I'm not feeling that sorry for her because I know she can hold her own. That's how I feel about that.
Lola, I was tracking with you, my good sis, and we were right here. And then you took a hard left, and I was like, wait, hold on. I wasn't
right
ready.
onto the wood.
I'm still around the corner, like trying to get myself together. All my stuff fell out the car. I'm trying to pick
The
stuff
worst
back
thing
up.
is going to get a shot. I was like, wait, what?
No. Okay, there were two things there. The first thing, most seriously, is her childhood traumas need to be healed, and this might be it, or it may not be. But second of all, sis has got it together. You know how it is in Georgia. If you have an open carry license, she can open carry. So yeah, that's it.
Oh man, Lola, smoke and fire. Anyone else want to add in terms of the conversation we're just having just in that little section?
Yeah, Lola is the hitter, okay, of the Mineral Gang, okay? We send her out on hits, okay?
Missions. Oh man, oh my chest. Love that. No, a good little discussion there as well around words and actions, and I love the fact we talked about patterns and talked about obviously payoff as well, risk and reward and payoff. So really good, some good conversation there as well going there. I appreciate you guys for that. Let's talk about obviously my guy Daisy Dukes and our resident Karen on the show. I think literally these two, I think we knew they were going to say, well, I said personally, I thought they might even say yes, I thought it might be a last minute turner. But unfortunately, Jacob didn't play ball. I think if you had said yes, Haley would have said yes. I think she might have been conceding to, but that was my sentiment. But what was you guys' thoughts in terms, obviously, Jacob and Haley? I'm going to let David go first because he had some. David, you talk to us about the Daisy Dukes and the Karen, please.
I don't think she would have said yes, right? Because of her revisionist narrative, in terms of her flipping the story onto him as to why things didn't work out. Like, the fact that she had the audacity to say that he wasn't the one who put in the work, right? I think that shows the fact that her perspective is warped in the sense that she feels like she's been doing all this work this whole time, and he was the one who hasn't been putting in the work in order to make things function between them, which is very odd because to me, I recall how he was the super 80s guy. That was the only way I remembered him. And then when she says like, hey, I'm not really comfortable with like the whole 80s thing, she buys some clothes, he wears them, and it seems like he was very frustrated, but he tried to put in the work time and time again to try and like make things work between them. But at the same time, he checked out very quickly because he noticed that, okay, she's not attracted to me. It doesn't seem like she's putting in the work to actually like show that she wants to make this work long term. But then also it seems like I'm the one who's trying to make things work, and I can't get with the lying all the time and stuff like that. It just seems like he was very, very frustrated with his match, and he just could not do it. So I didn't see him like flipping or turning the page at all, because unless she has some crazy sex and she gave it to him, they're not gonna work at all. Like he was starved. That brother was starving, and he just wasn't getting it. She was gonna give it to him. So there was no way to me that relationship was going to be able to work out, because the very first 4 days they were fine. She had given him sex, and he was like, okay, cool. When's the next time we're doing it? And she was like, no. And that's when everything fell apart. So unless something in that arena had to have changed, there was no way that they were going to get together. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on it right now.
Points. Appreciate that, David. Thank you very much. Appreciate that very much. Sorry, I got distracted. Lola, talk to us, because your team Jacob, your team Jacob.
Choo. All right,
wasn't choo when Haley was asking for it, but anyway, go for it.
All right, so you see, this is the thing here. Jacob definitely likes Haley more than she liked him. This is apparent. My fear for this day was that Haley might have played some kind of game because she may want to get the points in the eyes of the viewers, because I think everyone wasn't feeling her and she might have just wanted to continue and strung him along. So I'm pleased that they both came to an agreement and they cut their losses. This was what was meant to happen. I'm just saying Jacob is doing fine. Now, is he a perfect person? No, he's not. But I think he's a normal person like you and I, but he had a lot of redeeming qualities. He was straightforward, had a sense of self, actually some sense of self-esteem, loved himself enough to not always take what Haley was dishing out. So that's kind of what, put a mark in the sand. Now, as to Haley, I don't understand what she feels she invested in this relationship that she feels cheated, because all she did was kind of poke at him and then kind of stand off and judge him all the time. It makes no sense. But this is neither here nor there. The point here is Jacob is now free to find the person that God intended for him. And from what I don't know who, Didi, were you the one that found his was that his Twitter or his IG? Okay, so Didi gave me his IG account. I decided to holler and just give him a wave and tell him that it's all good. So I think Jacob is going to be just fine. Apparently he's getting all love from the chocolate ladies because now he's talking about shades. So I'm happy with the outcome. This is exactly what I wanted. Now, in terms of, I know there was that little picnic they had where they're talking about, did I grow? Who cares whether you grow or not? As far as I'm concerned, Haley had no grow. I mean, maybe when she looks at it, she might be able to. No, she wouldn't. That's a lie. Haley has no sense of self-reflection. She still feels like she's better than Jacob and she got cheated and the experts made a mistake. That's how she feels. So she's going to run with that. So maybe she hasn't learned from it, because I don't think she's been watching it with the way we've been watching it. As for Jacob, I'm happy. I have no complaints. Everyone keeps talking about these Daisy Dukes. He's confident in himself. There's no problem. Jacob is going to do just fine. I wish that Jero was here just to see that I just want to let her know that I sent him a message for both of us. So we'll see. The best one will win. But as for this, I'm happy with this. I have no problems with the outcome at all. And I think the experts didn't either. They had some peace with the decision because they weren't surprised. They knew they weren't connecting from after day 3. Now, some people are speculating that maybe he did something. Maybe his, bedroom antics are not up to par. Really, in that situation, it depends on the person. They didn't click, they didn't gel, that's fine. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with him. And I'm only judging her based on the way she's reacting to him. Instead of her to say, you know what, Jacob, I'm not feeling you that much. I don't really like you. Let's be friends. She's finding an excuse. And that's what the whole thing, the whole 7 weeks was just about what was wrong with Jacob. It never came to what was wrong with her. The way the whole bracelet thing went, she didn't like him, and that's fine. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this couple. It happened exactly the way it should. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Lola, for that. Kenny, what's your thoughts on Jacob and Haley? What's your
Keep
thoughts?
a straight face, Kojo. Keep a straight face. This chat is not gonna kill you.
Let me let it out now.
I'm like, let me just let you let it out. Let me just let you let it out. Let it out. Ooh.
Oh, I've been holding it in for a minute
You
or
have
two.
been. I'm like, let me just let you let it out.
Sorry, guys, the chat gets a little bit tasty up in there.
All right.
Yes, Kenny, go for it.
Jacob and Haley, I honestly don't think she wanted to say yes, but I do think she wanted him to say yes. Like, so that, because she did have a look of disappointment when he said yes. Either that or it's editing. But she had a very slight, because I don't think, or she probably wished they had asked her first before asking him. Because it was like, how are you going to say no to me? Despite everything that has happened and everything that they've both been through. And the fact that, at least to us, it was very obvious that they don't fit together. She still kind of looked like she was let down a little bit. But then we also don't know what happened that last episode before the decision day, where things were looking a little sketchy. But yeah, I didn't think they both were going to say yes at all. Like, it was very obvious, but she looked a little disappointed. I think for her ego, she wanted to be the one to say, she rejected the nerd.
Good points. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. He's socially awkward. That's what I said to him. I think we all kind of said that. I'm gonna let resident anti Jacob go on this particular section. Didi, you've been anti Jacob all season long. You and Lola have been going back and forth all season about Jacob. What's your thoughts on this particular part of the section of the season? He rejected. Oh, sorry, they both said they didn't want to, go any further. What was your kind of thoughts on that? On Jacob and
So
Haley?
I was really surprised. Jacob took some time to say no, because Haley don't want no man that going out with her in public that dress almost the same way for like Haley got a Daisy Dukes, he got his Daisy Dukes on. That won't work. So I'll just say the two of them, from the starting of that season, the two of them were just being honest with each other, and that's what I liked. Because to me, they were the realest couple there. Like they just didn't like each other. They didn't like each other, and then they just made everyone see that they didn't like each other. It wasn't going to work. But I still think Jacob was that like he was trying to get to a point where he tried a little, but he fell short. I think he shouldn't have stopped trying. Yes, Haley is spoiled. Haley has this sorority girl attitude, like she's one of the sorority girls. But I just feel like for me, they made the best decision. That was the best decision they made, to go their separate ways, because it just wouldn't work between the two of them. But like I said, Haley granted him a favor, because we have people like Lola that probably jump in his DMs and say hi big head or something. She was to say hi big head, and like, I love those legs, or those, I don't know, look like drumsticks to me. But anyway, let me get back to being serious. But they made the best decision. I feel they made the best decision, and it is what it is. That's all I gotta say for now. But no,
You said matchsticks? Is that what you said?
Huh?
Did you say matchsticks about his legs?
No, I said
Is that what you said?
drumsticks.
Drumsticks. You mean well cut drumsticks?
Wait.
Drumsticks.
We need to just comment. We need to just comment, because this comment is finishing me. This hard legs comment. Someone's
the one in shorts. Yeah.
Hard legs. I said I don't even know. But someone said, "How do hard legs look?" I don't know how hard legs look. How do hard legs look? I don't know.
Just like his did. They were well defined and cut.
Yo, I saw someone in the comment ask about colorism. The only thing he said in his IG is that he doesn't look at color, but it doesn't. I don't think he said that on his IG, because I found his IG. I had a look at it, and then someone asked him, would he date a black woman, and he said he don't look at colors. So
yeah, he's an equal opportunity employer.
Boom.
Yeah, so I guess ladies in the comments, or people can shoot their shot.
Really? Really? You're
like your sisters.
Listen, not a problem with that at all. Not a problem with that at all.
I don't know. I'm with there was a lady the panel before this one who was saying something, was questioning Jacob's eligibility. Okay, to be clear, because I know Jacob has a hive, I'm neither team Jacob nor team Haley. To me, Jacob's not attractive. I wouldn't date him if he was the last man standing, and Haley just has a nasty attitude. Okay, but but I question why Jacob is still single. I very much so question it, because I haven't, other than the fact that he's juxtaposed against Haley's nastiness, I don't see Jacob's redeeming qualities. Other than the fact that he refuses to be gaslit by Haley, other than the fact that he refuses to baby her, other than the fact that he refuses to enable her, I don't see what Jacob's qualities are, other than the fact that he has muscle. I don't see it. You know what? I'm going to keep it PG for the screen. I was going to go left, but I wouldn't. I don't see it, because if he was so eligible, we didn't all just recognize the fact that he was a man who had a house. Like, there have been women that he's been dating in the past, and there has to be something that turned them off, or like he just is not as amazing as we're all making him out to be. I just think compared to Haley, he comes out shining a little bit more, but I don't think of him as being a treasure, a gem, a prize in any by no stretch of the imagination.
Let me say something real quick. Like Kenny, like I've been saying, we all have Jacob at our houses, in our homes. Just talk to the wall, and you're talking to Jacob. I'm just saying that's because I don't know, he comes off as the nerd. So with him speaking with women or having a chemistry or conversation with a woman, it looks like he struggles when it comes to that. It looks like he really struggles when it comes to that. So then you brought up a great point. At his age, why is he still single? It kind of, something is wrong somewhere there. I don't know.
He just needs to find his tribe. Okay, there's women out there that will love him, innit? and hard
Nah,
legs.
the women. I'm gonna relate this to the plus size conversation. I feel like the women that Jacob would actually get, he's hitting above his range. I think that's why he was really struggling with Haley, because Haley is not a girl that he would meet in a bar or in a park who
No, this is
would
true
give
though.
him the time of day. I think he's hitting
Yeah.
above his range in real life, and that is why he's where he's at. If he would date the women who would literally make eye contact with him,
This
he
is
would have
true.
probably had like 5 babies, all eating steak and eggs. But he's hitting above his range. He thinks, and that I think. Look, I'm gonna psychoanalyze him.
I agree with you, Kenny.
I'm probably gonna get ripped to
100%.
shreds, and they're probably gonna say I'm nitpicking. It's like, but that's probably why he's bodybuilding and everything, because he's trying to up his chances of getting the woman that he really wants, which is like a Barbie. Like if Haley even gave him a smidge, like even if she treated him like trash, but still decided to continue to sleep with him, he would say yes, because he thinks he deserves a woman like Haley. Even though Haley's trash.
I agree with you. I actually said this on the very first ever review I did on Jacob. I said when they showed him going around his house and stuff, I said when he was talking about his friendship and him being in the gym and, you know, the kind of, you know, his life and everything like that, I said the exact same words you said, Kenny. I said he hits above his league. That's the issue. He thinks he's better than what he is. And not say that he's even, I won't even say necessarily he's arrogant. I think he just wrongly places himself on the hierarchy. I honestly think he wrongly placed himself on the hierarchy. And so it's not that he's necessarily bad. It's a bit like what we say about Jason on Ready to Love. You keep trying to fish in the wrong pond. Bring your rod back. Your rod is not for the heavy fish, you know? Your rod keeps breaking because it's the wrong rod to catch the kind of kingfishers you're going for. Go for the smaller one, the trout. Go for that one. But you're going for the big
Nothing wrong
fish.
with being ambitious. He's ambitious. You know,
Nothing wrong with ambitious.
Yeah.
It just means you got. It just means you. It just
So
means
he's striking
though.
out. I agree.
He's striking out more.
He's striking out. Yes.
Do you know what I'm
he is.
saying?
But
So
with
it's not that he's bad.
his profile has been upped with this show. So he's actually gained something because now you know how
That's
it is.
true.
They've seen him so he'll probably get what he wants now. And he's cut now. Maybe he wasn't cut back then. Maybe he just got cut in the last year. That's why he's doing the keto diet, so he can get cut. So maybe, you know, DP, you want to try it. Maybe if Didi wants to get cut, he can try the keto diet. Anyway, back to the point. But yeah, Kenny, I agree with you. He probably was, you know, hitting way too high. But it's okay to dream.
But you guys, I mean, let's be honest, okay? Like, Jacob could pull a Haley. He just needs personality training development, okay? And on the panel that I did, because I did like a predictions show, whatever, where we talked about what we think. And, you know, something we highlighted was that he probably would have been a better fit for Unmatchables because they actually put in the time and effort to coach you through the process. Like, he could use a bit of coaching. And like, if he just kind of developed more personality skills, he could go a lot further when it comes to the game of dating and women in general, right? Like, he's not ugly, okay? Like, he has muscles. He did do the work, Kenny, like you said, to like up his physique and his physical appearance. But that's just initial, you know, attraction. You know, to keep the person there, we talk about retention, right? It's about attraction and retention. To keep them there, that's where the personality comes into play. So you really need to like put some time and effort into really developing that. That's where Jacob is deficient. That's why I can't be Team Jacob. As much as I dislike Haley, like, Jacob, you got some work to do. You know,
if you follow his stories, he's actually quite funny.
No, he's funny. That's great. But is it the type of funny
there's a relational funny that he's not catching?
Yeah. I mean, and it's not even just about being funny. Like, can you have a non-awkward conversation? Like,
that's a good question.
You know, I get a lot of dead silence from him. That's why I said he's like doing the mannequin challenge throughout the whole relationship. Like, I just feel like he's loading, you know, like that loading circle that you get when the like webcam is trying to load. Like, I feel like that's how the conversations go a lot of times. And I mean, I don't know. I can only speak for myself. I don't know what's attractive to every woman out there. I do not try to speak for every woman, but that's hard. Like, I get why you're this old and can't have a long-lasting relationship. I get it. You know, so not saying that, I'm not trying to diss him with a matchables thing, but I do think that maybe the experts needs to bring an element of coaching to the married at first sight scenario, because a lot of these couples, not just Jacob, they need help.
Yeah.
These people need the most help. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Let me just add a
You
little.
see that? Somebody suggested me for Unmatchables. I'm a little hurt, but it's funny too. They said that me and Jacob should go and do Unmatchables.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. You're gonna get a date at the end of it.
That's not right. That's not
You know
right.
what, Spencer? So Spencer thinks I need to do Unmatchables.
No, that's not.
At least you
that's
get a date
not
out of it,
right.
Lola. Just think about that.
That's
Silver
not
lining.
right.
You're gonna
That's
get a
not
date at
right.
the end.
Lola is
do.
socially adjusted. Okay, she entertains us this whole time. Like, no,
The whole time.
come on, guys. Like,
If Lola, but if
let's
Lola
not do
did get
that.
on TV though, y'all, like it would be a wrap.
We would.
Look on
It would be
fire.
It would be a
ratings.
wrap.
And she's
I
a,
would
and
be
she's a
her
doctor.
biggest fan. Like,
Absolutely.
Didi was gonna say something. Didi, go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Dee.
Shani, Kojo and Shani, remember when we had that conversation about favoritism? Remember, like we had that conversation, like Jacob would be in the room, but is Jacob favored? You understand? He can be funny, he can be smart, he can be all those things, but is he favored? Because it's not everybody that like Jacob's personality.
I hear you saying.
You understand? Because I remember when we had that conversation. That's why I like this group a lot, because we have some good conversations behind the scenes. And when Shani brought up that for me, Jacob is an example. He might be funny, he might be good looking, but is Jacob, like, if you go to a bar, would you favor him in the room? I bet you there might be countless of other guys in the room that might probably sweep you off your feet. But just because of his personality, he's not favored. But that's just a point I wanted to bring.
That is so true.
That's a good point. Thank you. We can
I do want to clarify something I said, because I saw some comments in the chat telling me a double standard about the age shaming thing. Yes, it is a double standard, because women are not the ones out here picking their mates, right? So when you look at a woman in her late 30s, I'm in my 30s, FYI, so I'm age shaming myself, right? Women are not the ones. Thank you. Women are not the ones picking partners for the most part, right? Are there women who are more, assertive in taking their own destiny? Yeah, but I mean, if we look at Bree, look at women who are actually a little bit more assertive, they generally get a bad rap. So in society, generally, women are not the ones calling the shot when it comes to picking a partner and determining the fate when it comes to finding a mate. They can accept, they can receive, but generally finding a mate. And so I will call out Jacob, because he is the hunter in society. He is the man with a house. So it shows financial stability. He has the body, right? So it shows like he's disciplined. He has everything on paper that is supposed to put him at least up there in the food chain. But here he is coming up short. And so I will call him out. I will, for lack of a better phrase, age shame, even though that's not my intention, but it is a valid criticism, and it's not comparable to comparing women of the same age. I think it's apples to oranges. Even just saying, and he needs to read the room, right? From the moment where they made the decision not to be together, all right, there is no hope. You've pulled the plug, no resuscitation necessary. Okay, so why can't you just chill? You guys have been saying the whole time that even if you're not going to be together as a couple, you want to at least be friendly. But throughout, when they did the barbecue and everything, he was like Eeyore the whole time. I haven't learned anything. There's no value in this. Like, just mumble. And in the pictures, like, even when you go to Math's site and you see the picture of all of them together, body language, you see Jacob here, Haley's down there, and he's just has like a smirk and everything. Like, you both decided that you're not going to be able to move forward. Just say, look, I learned a lot about myself. That's it. You don't have to say anything gracious about the woman, because it's going to kill you to say something, but just say, I have learned a lot about myself. That's reading the room. Like, just end with a bang.
Kenny, that was the best Jacob impression I ever saw. So go ahead, Shani.
I just wanted to jump in on that point that you were saying, it's the growl for me. I almost had to go off camera. Jacob, it's the likability factor that you talked about, Didi. Is he likable? Like, I remember when that one episode when he had on the blazer and the tie, right? I was like, okay, so you can get the invite into the room, but can you stay in the room? Can you work the room? And will you get an invite next time that they pull the room together again?
Not with the jeans, you can't.
That speaks to your likability, right? The thing for me that I find the most attractive about Jacob is he's the petty king. And as someone who is struggling, I'm going to petty anonymous, petties are us. I enjoy his level of petty. I mean, it gives me great joy. But even that, you got to peel back some layers to probably get to that, right? So upon just first seeing him, I don't even know that he's got that wit and he's that level of petty. So, you know, a lot of times you don't have a lot of time to make that mark and to be likable. And Jacob, you know, it seems as though he's getting a little bit like set in his ways too. So how amenable is he going to be to adjusting and picking up some skills that could cause him to be more likable? We'll see.
Good points there actually as well. I love the conversation about the likability as well. So we'll hopefully be having one of those conversations as well in more of its entirety, because I think that's a really good point about Jacob, how likable he will be. He has his tribe, like everybody has their tribe, but like you're saying, if we're to have a larger pool, the favorability, would it make him shine? But that's why I guess he's put himself on the top of a hill. He's put himself on a show. He's put himself on top of the hill, and maybe increase his pool of tribe by being on the show and be more, I guess, present. Let's talk about another couple now. Going forward, let's get them out of the way. Ryan and Clara, they decided to say yes, which we all knew they would. No surprises there, but you know, what's our sentiments and our thought? I'm not gonna lie to you. We watched it together. I cannot remember. I just remember them saying yes. I cannot remember for the life of me what they spoke about. Do you know what I mean? So, can someone start us off? Who wants to lead the prayer off for Clara and Ryan? Maria, you moved your hand. Go for it.
Like, I feel like Clara feels like because she's had such bad experiences in the past that she thinks she's feasting right now, but really she's just eating crumbs off the master's table. Like, even though they both said yes, Ryan is still not emotionally invested in this relationship. Like, he still cannot express his emotions. And she said, like, you know, even though that's something that's important to her, that's not the hill she wants to die on. Okay, great. But like, you still think that you are in a loving relationship, you know? And, you know, Ryan, he'll be functionally a good husband. You know, he'll come home, he'll provide, he'll take the trash out every day, he'll be on time to important appointments and events and, you know, things like that. Like, he'll provide structure in the life and provide stability, but the emotional factor, I think he really struggles with that. Like, the way he even talked about it on decision day, he was like, you know, that's going to take time. Like, how much time, my friend? Like, and I don't want to like put the pressure on him to like fall in love or whatever. But remember, this man has never, ever been in love. He doesn't even know what love feels like, looks like. And you are talking about marrying someone that you are not in love with. Like, there's just such a huge disconnect from Ryan and his emotions. And I think that, you know, Clara, if she's either going to have to let that go as like a point of validation for herself, if she wants to just, you know, be in an amicable situation. Like, I think that they're fine for each other, in the fact that she'll, you know, do the wifely things and he'll do the husbandly things. And, you know, the depth, you know, isn't really there because neither of them are really deep. So, I mean, if she could just provide what he needs and if he just fakes it and tells her that he loves her, then they'll be fine. But he's not even willing to fake it just to keep things pushing. Like, and he has drawn that line in the sand on decision day. I don't know when she's gonna hear it. She should be in the field somewhere singing "Keep Your Eyes on the Prize." Hold on. Like, I feel like that is her theme song right now. Like, she's putting in all this work in this relationship just to get a "I love you." I mean, like, think about that. Think about it. That is not a great place to be in. Like, he won't even affirm her enough for her to feel like this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't know. He's weird. We still on decision day don't know any more about Ryan than when we first met him on episode 1. We talked about this on the other live, like, he had an identity crisis issue, like the hair. That is a way bigger issue than what we all realize. The hair with the Black Lives Matter graphic tees, with the, like, just weirdness, like no emotion, like, what is going on? So yeah, I mean, they'll survive for a couple of years just going through the motions. I mean, if Ryan can just tell her that he loves her, like, it's not even a big deal at this point. Like, just tell her, and then y'all be good. But that's how I feel about it.
Appreciate Maria. Sinead, what are you saying? What's your thoughts around, obviously, Ryan and Clara? What's going on there, man? Do you know what I mean? Like,
when that man said they're building up the momentum, they're getting the music ready. Dun 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 dun. Ryan, will you stay with Clara? Bow tie. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Clara, I'm 150% sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I want to stay with you. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I was just like, I want you off my TV. So, yeah, sure, bad. Gone. Tired of you. But Maria said it. The only word I can think of for them is the disconnect. It runs so deep. It's on so many levels. Like, I still feel like we never even got resolution to their religious views and how they want to raise their children. And I'm just like, and y'all saying yes? But, hey, if they like it, I love it. So, yeah, sure.
I hear you on that. Yeah, sure. That's all I got to say as well. Do you know what I mean? Lola, what are you saying? Ryan and Clara, man.
You know what? I love the way I was waiting to hear Shanae say that, because were we surprised they were going to be together? Not really. It was going to be either or. I mean, it's a 50-50. How wrong could you be? But I do wonder where Clara, where her family is, because we know she's lost her mind, because the one thing she wants, he hasn't given it to her, and why would he give it to her now? When you buy the cow, you get the milk for free. Why would you do anything different? She requires a certain amount of emotional attachment, someone to declare they love her. She didn't get that in those 8 weeks. What's to say she's going to get it now? So I don't know. I wish her the best, but I don't see anything changing. I'm really curious as to his motivations, what he wants, because he knows what she wants, but he's not giving it to her. Why? I'm done with this couple. And I did say, if they got together, I hope that the experts would provide them with, some real serious counseling, because we can see the trend. In my opinion, she's become somebody completely different than she was when she was selling it to us in the beginning. She's now no longer the independent stewardess. Now she's very dependent on him. Now she goes to bed at 10 o'clock. If you go to bed early, that's none of my business. Go to bed. Why do I have to go to bed at the same time as you? Just nonsense like that. Like, she's now morphing into a mini version of him. That sucks. And I hope it's just for TV. And I hope somebody's watching. And I hope her family's paying attention. This is why you have family. Like, you all know there are a bunch of us. And we will run wild if somebody hits one of us or does something crazy, like trying to change us. So I hope somebody's batting for her somewhere like that, because this makes no sense. Yeah. So they're together. Woo-wee. This is another bad move, but that's all I have to say about them.
Appreciate it, Lola. I'm gonna go to sure. To give us their particular reaction. Absolutely petty. Go for it.
Maria, I kind of disagree with Maria when she said we haven't learned nothing about Ryan. We've learned Ryan like to wear tight pants. We've learned Ryan pants are tighter than Clara's pants. We've learned a lot about Ryan that doesn't make it seem like Ryan is interested in women. I'm just being real. But I think Clara is delusional. Clara is very, 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 very delusional, and it all has to do with Ryan's ego. And Clara thinks that Ryan is a great catch because I've seen her unfiltered. I've seen certain things about her, and to me, from her past, that she's probably being treated like the kind of guy she probably allowed into her life is guys, not guys of substance. I've been saying that for the longest while. It's not guys of substance. And to her, Ryan, Ryan is a great catch. Ryan is a man of substance. He looks like he holds his own. He always have that sleek hairstyle. I don't know when that hairstyle will ever change, but he has that. He has stuff going for him. But Ryan is so confusing to me. Ryan is very, very confusing. But the most we have learned about him is basically he likes to wear tight clothes. He likes to work out. I think he's just a selfish kind of guy. Like he's more into himself than he's more into Clara. But Clara needs to wake up, and I think long term they would not last. Because she'll get frustrated. She's already sexually frustrated, but then I'm also looking forward to the reunion because I think maybe they might have some interesting thing that might be in that reunion. It looked like from when I saw the ending, it looked like the reunion might have something we might want to see or hear, or maybe it happened. So we will see how the reunion goes. But then the two of them long term, if he doesn't say he loves her, she won't get that clarity. He has never loved before, so I don't know when he really get to that point where he actually loves her or know what loves feel like. So I don't know, but we will see how it works out between the two of them. After the year, they might not stay together, but I think they would not work.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear that. I hear that. Totally hear that. Totally hear that. David, talk to me, bro. Like, what's going on? Ryan, Clara. I mean, listen. As much as we have smoke for both of them, they decided to say yes. What's your sentiments? What's your thoughts?
I have two thoughts. I don't have a lot, to be honest. I do think that the next time we see them, there will be one thing that has changed. I think either he's going to drop the L word, or they're finally going to have sex, or at least he has sex with her in terms of like being able to do something with her. It may not be all the way, but I think he's going to breadcrumb her in terms of like giving her small bits just enough along the way to make sure that she stays, but not quite giving her everything that she wants, right? Ultimately, I think she's going to keep bending backwards for him, and that's going to be the bane of their relationship, because I think she's going to accumulate a lot of resentment towards him because she has a lot of gripes, a lot of things that she wants from him, but she can't seem to vocalize those needs that she has because she doesn't want him to go away, right? And it seems like she will do anything to maintain this relationship because she's never had anything like it before. She will do absolutely anything. Everything is on the table. And that's not the case for Ryan. It seems Ryan is still holding back because he doesn't trust her. Probably because of how quickly she can talk about things regarding their relationship or the things that are on her mind. He doesn't like that in a woman. And she sees that. And though she tries to change that, that's only going to last but for so long. So that's going to cause her to feel like she can't be her true self, or she's going to feel like she constantly has to work around things so that she can keep him happy and maintain this relationship that she's never had before. And ultimately, she's going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place and ultimately give up because there's only so much she can do in order to please him. And he's going to act clueless, like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Or he might even actually be clueless and not really know because she has a hard time communicating with him. So yeah, I think it's ultimately going to be him doing small little things to show that like, hey, like you have my love or whatever. Even he even said it himself that she has to chip away at his walls. I don't think that's necessarily good for any relationship. The fact that he knows he has his walls up and he knows that he's going to be in a marriage with this woman for the rest of his life, but she has to continue breaking down his walls. Like, why is that her job? She's not his therapist. She's not his counselor. She's his wife. Why does he still have his walls up with his own wife? To me, that signals that like he's going to try and do little by little to where he's comfortable. He's never going to budge until things are comfortable for him. And that's not fair in a relationship. It's supposed to be give and take.
Good points. Good points. You're right. I think some things that you said mentioned there in terms of, I think with Ryan and Clara, and I'll keep it short because I don't have much to say about them. I feel like I've exhausted everything we could. Like the trouble is, I've exhausted every possibility I can do with Ryan. I don't know where else I can go. Like because he has given us nothing, zilch, zero, de niro, like nothing. De niro is not zero, but anyway, listen, he's given us nothing, and so it's kind of hard to even. Every week we talk about Ryan, and I'm like, I feel like we've almost gone in circles, like because we don't know what else to add to the conversation. Like, Ryan, give us something we can hold on to, because someone being this deep and yet nothing comes from the deep makes no sense. We haven't got anything from you, Ryan. You are this deep and you think deep. Why are we getting nothing from you? You know what I'm saying? And that I've got more from Clara than I have got from Ryan, and you're supposed to be the deep one. That's what blows my mind. Do you know what I'm saying? And he might say, "Oh well, you know, I don't want to show every side of myself on TV." Bro, you haven't even shown one. Right now, you're not even a 2D shape. You're non-existent at the moment. Like, that's how bad it is. Like, we don't know anything about Ryan, and that for me is a scary part. Because even Chris has shown his dragon head, right? We've seen Paige's face. We've seen Haley's face. We've seen Jacob's face. We've seen everybody's face on the particular show except Ryan. We do not know who he is in the slightest. Now, obviously, I'm sure you can do some stuff behind the camera, but that for me is even more scary, that you are so good at holding position. Like, there is nothing you let off on camera. Camera didn't catch you once, you know. Camera didn't even catch you once. Do you know how crafty you have to be? No, we didn't catch you once on camera for the last 12 weeks. Anything apart from the cupboards. But obviously, even then, you know, they're not bad. You lot are bad. You lot are bad. We haven't caught anything. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, yeah. So she came with the sign, y'all. She came with the sign. Let me move on the conversation. Let me move away from Ryan and Clara. I think we exhausted and we can talk about them. So we obviously let's do Chris and Paige, and we'll end it on a good note. It's not every day end on a sour note. Chris and Paige, y'all. This is what people have been waiting for. They've been waiting for the Chris and Paige conversation. Chris and Paige. Chris and Paige, interesting, you know. I don't know what to say apart from the fact that it's a Mazzoline. You understand? So, Lola, what are you saying? Talk to me, man. Chris and Paige.
This is what I'm saying, right? So, you know what? You know, we've been cracking jokes that, you know, Chris is a narcissist. Nah, narcissists are smart and they're smooth and they're slick. You don't see them coming. We saw this clown coming before he came. Like, the dude is crying. You know how children are when you drop a kid and if you don't make a noise, they stop crying? Like, this dude had the audacity to run to his car like a little toddler and start sniffing and growling, but his eyes were as dry as a bone. Nothing. Like, yeah, I was just, and then, you know, there's another move he did. He waited, so they ran outside. It's an Atlanta cold night. He waits till he gets in the building before he hands her his jacket. That's another fake move. But you know what? He can do all those games because if you know what, chicks are for kids. That's what they say. So he can play these tricks with a kid. And that simply means that Paige is acting like a child, so he can play that game. This wouldn't work with somebody else. He is, he's one of God's children, so I'm not going to call him ugly, but I don't see what's attractive about this guy, that she's all lost. Or she seems to be, I don't want to use that term, so I'm not going to use the term, but you know what I mean. So maybe they had a couple great nights. I don't know what it is that continuously makes her act like a dummy next to him. There is, or maybe this is, I know she has a background as a producer. Maybe she's playing up her role because she's not, I don't want to believe anybody is that dumb. And I said I wasn't going to be hard on her because first of all, she's kind of like pandering to him like, oh, really? This is not going to be nice and you're not going to like it. But okay, so she miscarried. Am I going to run to the car with you? Is that what I'm going to do? And that's what she did. So maybe she's playing it up to give herself some more camera time because it makes no sense. And then the people are looking at her like, what? But what I do like that happened here is when they thought they were planning to get together, when they realized, because Chris is a spoiled child, has no home training, has no manners, doesn't respect anyone, but wants to get respect himself. So the Pastor Cal, who's a sharp black man, realizes that when you confront him like a real man, he misbehaves like a child. He goes into a tantrum. So he decides to switch up the cards and, whisper, do this, do that. And that way the guy won't be rude and maybe listen. But at the end of the day, this girl, Paige, eventually either decided to wake up or decided to stop playing games and agree and say, you know what, I'm going to, choose myself. But I'm hearing rumors that that's not what she did, that maybe in real life, they're actually still seeing each other. So this is neither here nor there. I know we've said that there's a little bit of Paige in all of us, or we all know a Paige. But I hope that anyone who's had the Paige tendencies will look at this lady and repent. That's the only thing I can think of because it makes no sense. It's like they come back and they come with he didn't let her answer. We're undecided. Who cares? I wish they would try this somewhere else. They can only do this here. Yeah. And I still want to know where Paige's family is because they're watching, because she's not just doing this behind closed doors. She's doing this on a national, may I say, international platform. You're a disgrace. If I shared the same last name with her with a family member, I would be completely embarrassed because then people will ask why is she doing this? Is she used to abuse? Is she used to trauma? We're all gesticulating and guessing as to why she's allowing this to happen. There's nothing wrong with her. She's a fairly attractive young woman who has her own money. Why is she acting like a dish rag? I don't know. And so it's like anytime I see her, I'm just like, maybe is she going to let me down or is she going to actually act like she knows something? Because she's not stupid by any means. So why is she... So maybe she's just here for the value to maybe teach us a lesson. That if you know someone like this, maybe you can talk with them because this is what makes people really ask or say that is reality TV really scripted. Because I don't feel like someone would do this in real life, particularly out in the open. That's all I have to say about this chick. I'm done. Yeah, I know Dr. Pepper was looking at her with a side eye, like, is this girl playing or she's serious? Yeah, that's all I have for her. I don't want to be mean anymore. I wanted to get off TV. I wanted to get off the screens and just go find Jesus. That's all I have for her. I'm tired. Like, yeah, Sinead, you think you put that sign up for me? Because I'm tired. That's it. And end of rant.
Appreciate you, Lola. Appreciate you. Didi, what are you saying? Oh, yeah, go for it. Oh, Sinead, you want to go for it? Go for it. Yeah, you go for it. Yeah, you go for it. No, go for it. Yeah, you want to go for it? Go for it.
All right, I'm going to be quick, but if you guys can bear with me here. The Lord actually laid something on my heart today as we were talking in the other panel about Chris and Paige. And so if you would just indulge me. Truth is we tired. Options are few. We like the show, but don't like watching you. So get off our TV screens. Y'all are so traumatizing. You've exhausted us for 8 long weeks. Now leave us alone, would you please? Get off our TV screens. Come on, choir in the chat. We don't like watching. Y'all are so doggone traumatizing. Get off our TVs, please. Amen.
Oh my God.
Then somebody pass out. Where's the basket? Where's the offering?
I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
I was not ready for that.
The Lord just laid that on my heart and in my spirit. And he told me to loose it into the earth realm. Amen.
That is so naughty. I love that. Didi, what are you saying?
Look,
I'm not right.
Shanae and I have the same idea because there is this Jamaican artist, Barry Salmon, and
Oh,
he has
Lord.
this song. She's just looking for the sweet lies. And he said, when your heart is feeling, but your brain is telling you. So her heart is not. Heart, I think she still has feelings for Chris. So her heart is feeling what it's feeling, but her brain is just not functioning as it's supposed to. Because I cannot comprehend, understand, fathom this. I'm lost for words as to why would Paige actually be confused about getting a divorce. Honestly, I do not know. I just felt Pastor Carl should have stepped up a little more when he was having a conversation with Chris and be more assertive with Chris. Stop pampering or babying him because that's what Chris wants. Chris blames everyone around him but himself. That's the type of guy he is. And he's figured out how to work Paige. You know what to do to get Paige to feel sorry for him. You know what to do to get her to be, for her to just let herself go and just support him. Like, because she's like, oh, I think I'm worried about your mental. Worried about his mental for what? You understand? So I really do not know. For Paige, I don't know if it's a family that failed her, if it's a church that failed her, if it's society that failed her, if it's her friends. I cannot put my finger on it. I still not going to bash her. I'm still feeling sorry for her because at the end of the day, she's somebody's child. But then I just think is Paige was what Paige comes from. She has that fear that she don't want. I think she don't want to fail as well. Like she wants to have that. She wants to make it work. Like she wants to be there. She wants to be the type of woman that'll just actually make it work. Like she don't want to fail. Like to her, I think if you see she got a divorce, she failed in life. You understand? But at the same time, accountability. Women need to be accountable for some of the actions. They need to be accountable. And Paige, I think there's a certain blame that needs to be put on her because the accountability needs to come into place for her actions. Because I don't know what to say about Paige anymore. You cannot allow this mental abuse. The man tell you he's spiritually attracted to you. The man said you're not attractive, but yes, still he wants to jump into bed with you every second he gets. So there's accountability to Paige that she needs to be held accountable for some of the things that she allowed Chris to get away with or the abuse she's getting because she's the one that's allowing it. If she wasn't allowing it, Chris would never ever be the clown he is right now. You'd have been different and you would have acted different, but that's how I see it. But for me, anytime you guys get a chance, look up that song, Barry Salmon, Sweet Lies. You know all the sweet lies to tell Chris. Sorry, he knows to tell Paige. When he tell all those sweet lies, the heart is feeling, but the brain is just not functioning.
Good points there. Sweet Life's a bad boy tune as well. So, you know what? Let me just add, and I'll let Kenny, if you're ready, I'll let you go as well. You know, you know what? I do feel for Paige though. So I do feel for her. Do you know what I mean? I feel for her because as much as I didn't like her behavior on this show, and I was asking her what the hell's going on, and I was thinking to myself, "Girl, you tripping, right?" But I feel for her because it's like, and you're right, there's accountability that needs to come into this as well. I feel for her because I'm like, yo, like you have to be broken to be able to allow yourself to be in this position, which means you were broken before you got on the show because Chris didn't do much. Do you know what I mean? So before you got on the show, you were already broken. Who broke you? Like, that's the question I want to ask myself. Like, Paige, who broke you before you got onto the show? Because Chris didn't do heavy manipulation. If anything, my friend, he was even telling you some truths. I don't like you. I don't like your face. I'm gonna have a kid. I mean, he didn't even do much lies. Like, I think that's why we're saying there was not much sophistication. He didn't do heavy stuff. So something happened to you before you got onto the show that has made you so susceptible. You know what I mean? Like, there's people pleasing, and then there's people pleasing. Like, you know, like, and that's what I think for me, why I feel a certain type of way about Paige, and whether that's church, whether that's family, whether that is just that you've had a bad relationship in the past, whether that's desperation, I don't know. Even desperation, there's a level. I mean, you'd get to a point where you like, there's some sense that will come into it, but I think there's some brokenness in there before the wedding aspect, which has contributed towards the way she is now. Kenny, talk to us, man. What's your thoughts in there?
Look, the end of Paige and Chris is an inside job. There is no therapist, there is no expert, there is no friend that is going to talk sense into Paige. It is an inside Paige job. She has to be sick. She has to take Shanae's side and be just as sick and tired as we are. That's literally it. She's not sick and tired. See, this is why, okay, I'm going to take you down memory lane. This is not an I told you so. So this is just, I'm going to take you down memory lane. When we started at the wedding, everyone blamed the bridesmaids for not telling her the truth. Then we got to after the wedding and everyone blamed the experts. And then we finished from the marriage. People blamed, while we were in the marriage, people blamed the producers for not telling Paige the truth, even though we don't know how much more needed to be said. Then we got to the two white girls, Clara, Virginia. And then we started saying, what is this white people business in black people business? Like, we started calling them Karens because they stood up for Paige. We blamed them, even for standing up for Paige. We blamed them. Now we've gotten to, let me know if I've skipped any event, but now we've gotten to decision day. You got 3 experts. We've had almost a full work day, 6 hours, 2 hours shy of a full work shift. 6 hours. Who are we blaming now? We have finally decided to settle on Paige. Finally. And this is what we've been saying from the beginning. Like, the best friend couldn't say anything. None of these people that I've mentioned that were trying to signal her the red flags, they were not responsible for Paige's destiny. There is a reason why they are, and I'm going to now take this to the broader place. I personally, unless a friend has invited me as their accountability partner, I am not taking on that role. I have lost one too many friends to honesty. I've lost one too many friends. Why? Because there are many people who harbor the spirit that Paige is harboring, whether it's regarding a relationship, regarding a toxic dynamic, regarding a job. There are many people around you who are telling you this is the way, or they're telling you perhaps you may want to consider, but instead of self-reflection, you'd rather cut them off because they're a hater. Every other day you go on social media, there's one hater meme after another hater meme, because people don't want to take personal accountability and people don't want to be self-reflective. What we sit here and say is common sense is really not common to a lot of people. And that's why you grow in community. That's why you open yourself up. But if you're busy shielding yourself from haters, you will be your own hater. And so the rise and fall of Paige in this dynamic is all on Paige. Until Paige is sick and tired of being sick and tired, she will continue to have this dynamic. And it's not just Chris. There has to be other things in her life where she has self-sabotaged, where she has done what is not in her best interest. This woman was having unprotected sex with Chris this whole time. This whole time. And you cannot tell me that after Pastor Cal called her out on it, it took a man to have to call her out on it. See how embarrassing that is? That is low. That is low. After Pastor Cal had to call her out on it. Oh, wait. Can you guys hear me? Because my Wi-Fi was doing a little jiggy jaggy. After Pastor Cal called her out on it, you cannot tell me she stopped having unprotected sex with Chris. Because why was she even having it in the first place? You can't tell me Chris was like, okay, now we're going to be safe. Now I'm going to use a condom to protect you. If she's not going to protect herself, You understand what I mean? She has no, like, the concept of boundaries, self-protection, none of that. The rise and fall of the Chris and Paige dynamic starts and ends with Paige. And I really understand we're triggered. I understand it's very easy to condemn her at the end of the day, but I will say this. This is why people preach mental health. This is why people preach and recommend therapists. It doesn't have to be you and a narcissist, but there are many things in our lives that we are self-sabotaging, and we're not aware enough to see our blind spots, and we're too self-conscious enough to open ourselves up to our community because of shame, right? Or we don't want to be weak, or we don't want to be vulnerable. And this is when either you open yourself up to your community or you open yourself up to a professional. But if you keep silent, you and your ship will sink. That's the reality, right? Okay. Woody and Amani, Karen and Miles called it. They called it before decision day. They said Chris, Paige, blah, 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 was going to be a situationship. They called it. They said there is a connection. It is sex-based. It is not going to end. And that's what we ended up seeing. Paige running after Chris for the upteenth time. One thing that jumped out to me, Chris's ex never ran after him when he left the room during that trio meeting that he had with him, the ex, and Paige. When he left, the ex said, let him go. Who got up and went after him? Paige. So even the ex, who was supposed to be the mother of my child, the Mercedes that needed a Mercedes, she couldn't be bothered. She was just like, he's throwing a tantrum. Let him leave. Let him go. Why? Because even though she didn't think highly enough of herself not to be in a relationship with Chris, she at least thought highly enough of herself not to play the game. So you see where Paige is starting from, she's way behind in the class. Way behind. And I'll just drop it there.
Bars. Cheers, Kenny, for that. That was bars. Wavies. David, what are you saying to me, bro? Talk to us, bro.
How you gonna let me go after that? She stole all my talking points. Like, there's nothing else for anybody else to say. Like, what else can I possibly add to that? She went from beginning to end. What do you want me to say? Like,
I don't know.
All I'm gonna do is look at you, bro. Listening to, because there's nothing else for me to say. Like, honestly, it's honestly disappointing because I have nothing else to say. Like, Kenny, like, I think this is a lesson that, like, it doesn't matter how loud any megaphone is if it falls on deaf ears. There's no amount of persuasion that anybody could have used to speak to Paige at all. There is no other way that this would have went. She's going to make the decisions that she makes. She even knew how it would look. She understood, like, yeah, I know I look stupid, but for some reason I can't bring myself to say no. I'm just not sure of what decision I should make. This was during the 6 hours. It took her 6 hours. And even then, they came back and Chris was speaking on her behalf saying, I'm not going to make a decision and neither is she. And she didn't object. She agreed with him. Even after he took hold of that whole conversation. And even when the experts tried to intervene, there was pushback. And she's always trying to defend him. She wants this relationship. Like, she wants the dysfunction, which to me signals that she's used to this. This is the type of thing that she likes. She's not new to this. She's true to this. That's her whole mindset. You know what I mean? Like, there's no amount of persuasion or anything that, like, could have dissuaded her from this type of situation. This is what she wanted. She actually got what she wanted. And though there's more shame attached to it, it's not outside of the realm of possibility for her because she was willing to stay even after it all. She was worried about his mental health and not her own. That's just where her mind is right now. She's desperate for a relationship. She wants the validation from him and she doesn't want to leave. That is her relationship. What else are we supposed to do, right? And I think that's like a lot of people's situations where there's no amount of persuasion or there's no amount of intervention that you can do for some people, they have to reach certain conclusions on their own. And there's a lot of hurt that is involved with coming to that conclusion for them, but that's just part of their life story. And this is part of Paige's. What else do you want us to say, you know?
Totally hear that. Totally hear that. Oh, Chile. Okay, Lola, Maria, anywhere you want to go? Lola, you want to go, Lola? Oh,
Talking about these people? Are we moving on? I'm
and
just
to
wondering.
one, Chris and Paige.
Kojo, I know you got the memo.
We don't finish now. We don't finish. Kenny concluded. David decided to wrap up the gift. Did he want to say something? I don't know.
Just
I
Didi
got
or
nothing
Maria,
for
then
that.
Maria. Add to that. Add to that. You have a different perspective. Add to that. What are you saying, Maria? Talk to us. What's she saying, man? Talk to us, man. What you feeling? Obviously, even the Paige situation where she laughed, not even laughed, but she kind of got a bit excited about the fact that baby is gone. Not that she was excited about the baby going, but that being a problem. Sorry, not that she was there.
You literally took the words out of my mouth. I expect nothing less from Chris. We know he is a grown child, and he will act as such. But I was paying a lot of attention to Paige.
Mm-hmm.
And I got some red flags from Paige. So I feel like the smoke that she's getting tonight is deserved. I mean, she's not as innocent and docile as we think she is.
Mm-hmm.
The way that she lit up at the news of the miscarriage, I said, Paige, really? It was almost like she thought this was an opportunity to get back in good graces or to like salvage the relationship because he's going through this emotional turmoil or whatever it is that he's trying to display with this miscarriage, which lets me know that Paige really thinks that the fall of their relationship has everything to do with the miscarriage or with the fact that there was a baby involved. That is not even remotely close to the reason why this was a failed relationship. This was a failed relationship because Chris is a bad person. He dogged you out. He is crazy. He disrespected you. He said you were unattractive. He used you for sex time and time again. He emotionally tried to manipulate you using childish antics. And you were gullible through the whole process, Paige. The pregnancy with Mercedes was just a sideshow. That was just on top of everything else that was going on. That was just the icing on the cake of a bad relationship. This was a match made in absolute hell. And the experts know it. The experts couldn't even hold it together. Dr. Viviana, where was that smoke when you needed to advise Paige? Like, I get, Paige wouldn't have listened anyway because she is caught up in these delusions that, like, she can change Chris, that Chris will be, like, someone who is the best thing she ever had or, whatever the case, like, there's still hope. I want to applaud her for saying no to the marriage, but I don't believe her no. I don't believe her. She is still emotionally invested in this man. The fact that he's crying and walking out, doing all these antics after almost cussing out Dr. Viviana, he runs to the car, gets in the car, you get in the car, and again, you are the reciprocal of his emotional baggage. Like, Paige, get it together, girl. She talked about her previous relationships where she was stepmom and baby mama and didn't get the respect she deserved. Paige, you have normalized this toxicity in your life and you think that this is normal, like if Chris were to be persistent after decision day, which he probably was, I don't know, but like she would fall right back into it. I mean, come on now. I just thought that that was a very interesting point, and it brought me back to the, you know, remembering the whole uh conversation that she ended up having with Mercedes. Like, Paige, you still think that you're in competition with Mercedes, the baby mama. That whole conversation that you had with her was just you being in competition with her. That's why you threw out statements that were complete nonsense when you said, oh, yeah, I could be pregnant too. First of all, you're throwing daggers that are cutting yourself, Paige. Why would you ever want to admit on national television that you might be pregnant by a man who got his ex-fiance pregnant months before you got married to this man, after he has said that you're unattractive and all this stuff, and you might be pregnant? Paige, you said that because you were in competition with the baby mama. You wanted to tear them down because you thought that tearing them down would give you a better chance with Chris. There is no better chance with Chris. This is the best you're going to get from Chris. So yeah, Paige has to take some accountability. She does. Yeah. And if I hear news that they're still messing with each other, they're still involved, girl, I've tried to have so much sympathy for you throughout this whole process. I really have. But you do have to look in the mirror and take some accountability with this, because he's not smooth. He's not even playing chess. He's been playing checkers with you. Checkers, Uno, Connect Four, like basic. And you falling for it every time. And yeah, I mean, Chris, like, I don't have much to say about him. He's a child. He has like arrested development. I really need to understand what happened in his childhood that got him to being this grown age, acting like a child. You looked like you were a student in the principal's office being held accountable. You were turning red like you were a Caucasian. Like, I'm just like, and then the crying and running away from the situation. You're not a man. You're not a man. You're a boy. Like, you think you're so cool. You want to be cool so bad. Like, you like, and his lack of emotional intelligence and lack of like character development and all of this makes him dangerous to a person like Paige. Because for clout, for fame, for clicks and views, he is willing to like do whatever to just probably stay relevant. Like, I just wonder, like, after this, you know, his 15 minutes are almost up. What is he going to do next to stay relevant? Because you know he's soaking it all up. He's loving the attention. He just posted a video of like some older ladies who saw him and recognized him, and like he's just basking in being known out here for the part that he played in degrading a Black woman. Boy, bye. Bye. Trash, pure trash. Like, and you call yourself a man of God, a Christian or whatever. Boy, bye. Stop trying to use faith to reel her back in, talking about you. I knew he was gonna drop them bars. Oh yeah, I know she's a good wife because we read scriptures together. You don't know nothing about what the scriptures got to say. Bye. I got no love for Chris. Clearly, like he can kick rocks with open toe shoes. Like, for all I care. Yeah, I I don't know. I'm so depleted of energy for them. Like the fact that she's geeked about being the best thing he never appreciated, the type of backhanded, not even a compliment, but of an insult that is that you are lighting up about. Girl, not even the best thing that he ever experienced, that he knew, the best thing he never appreciated.
That is a participation award. Participation award. Thanks for being here, Paige. That's literally what that was.
My mind is blown. And then when you meet with the couples afterwards, you trying to save face with them, trying to, as if they don't know the type of crazy Chris is, that he's been the demon child he's been this whole time. You're going to try to say, oh yeah, some things were said that made me really think about it. This is why I like Virginia. As crazy as Virginia is, she keeps it 100 every time. She was like, so tell me, like, what was it that really had you double thinking this toxic relationship? Same question I have, Paige. Like, girl, get it together. Get it together. She's been through some things, definitely. She's broken, definitely. But now you went on national television and you experienced this thing. So now you're gonna have to do some self-work. That's what I'm praying for you. Clearly you need it. So let's pray about it. Let's get you the work. Let's see the therapist, the 2-3 therapists that you say that you have, and get better.
Appreciate it, man.
I can answer that question for you, Maria. When you said what he's going to do to stay relevant, he's going to continue wearing that tight pants that cutting off the circulation of blood to his brain. That's what he's going to continue.
Ashy ankles showing.
Them ashy ankles look like you need some
Yo,
shea
man, leave
butter.
that boy alone. Leave that boy alone.
But I just wanted to bring up one more thing about Chris.
Yeah.
On 3 instances, we have seen the real Chris. It was the time they went on that ATV ride when he called him out and he exploded. It was the same time at the table with Eric, and it was the same time when Dr. Viviana called him out. He came at her again. So he's a very good actor. And then I just think for me on those 3 instances we saw him, that is the real Chris. And then everything else, he's just acting. That's what I wanted to add to him.
Yeah, man. Y'all kind of snatched it up. Oh, you want to say, Kenny?
I just want to say, did y'all catch? I know we're sick and tired of being sick and tired, but I just want to say one thing that stood out to me. Did y'all catch at the end of the barbecue when they were both leaving? And she was saying something like, oh my God, I was so scared for you. I was praying for you. That kind of like alluding to the fact that, you know, his late arrival and the dampening of the spirit, that she was so scared for him. I said, scared for him? You better be scared for yourself. What is wrong with you, woman? Why are you still trying to protect this man? Why are you still trying to show him you're his ally? I wish I would tell a man that called me ugly to my face and told me that only my spirit is attractive. What? that I was rooting for him. She literally pulled a Tyra Banks. We were all rooting for you at the end of that. Like, it was a friendly banter. And he was like, why are you scared for me? Like, don't you know I'm a jerk kind of tone? And she was just like, you know, I'm just scared for you. I'm like, yo, the patron saint of pick-me's. My God. Alrighty.
It's a Mazzoline. It's a Mazzoline.
It's a Mazzoline.
We had to talk about it. It's a bit of a dampener, but we had to talk about it and we had to go through it and discuss it. Because, you know, I think there is importance to it, which is that, again, it's not nice to see on our screen, but we have, I guess, maybe now a focal point whenever we are, you know, if there is a situation where someone close to you who is, like Kenny put as well, if someone is in your I guess accountability range, this might be a quick to say, hey, look, you know, just in case you can't see it, we've seen this happen on TV, just to let you know. So I get it. I know. Oh, what do you want to say, Didi? You want to say something? Go for Didi. You want to say that? Oh, okay, cool.
I want to say something. Like, I'm gonna just tell y'all right now, don't be my friend. Because if I see you going down a path like this, I'm gonna just tell you straight up, and we could just not be friends afterwards. It's fine. Because at least you can't say that I didn't tell you, that I didn't warn you. Okay. If he had talked to me the way he talked to me, the way he talked to her friends at the wedding, girl, we would have had a serious conversation. That was red flag city up in there. What do you mean? Okay, I'm sorry. I can't.
It's okay. No, I get it. I get it. It's real. It's real. It's real. It's a real situation. So I get it. I get it. You know, the love hearts. We get it. We understand. Look, man, I get it. Do you know what I mean? I get it. I think we'll all be happy when the season is done and we don't have to talk about Chris and Paige again. I think we'll be all happy. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully July they got a new batch. They get someone, you know, less abusive behaviors and more behaviors that are just like, you know, you're not a good match. You know what I mean? Because they're taking it to another level this season, I think, with Chris and Paige. But yeah, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I think we've exhausted them up to the top of the hill. So let's end on a more nicer, you know, more nicer note. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about the cheesecake, baby. Okay, the cheesecake of cheesecakes. Okay, baby. Let's talk about the fact that, you know, Vinay. Okay, Vinay, Champagne Vinay, and Brie said yay. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I mean, it was good to see. Like, you know, we got to see some positivity on our screen. They play some good music to make us know that they're gonna say yes, and it was gonna be a nice setting for for us to watch and stuff. You know, she wants a ring, but she got a cheesecake. I mean, it's not too far apart. I don't think it's too far apart. I don't think they're very far apart at all. So you know, what was our thoughts on Brianna? And what I didn't like, let me just say this: what I didn't like is, I don't know, I felt like the show is trying to make Brianna and Vinny, what's the Amani
Woody.
and Woody, and I don't want to see that because you're not them. They are very unique too. Not even Miles and Karen are them. They are so unique in how they mesh together. I don't want to see anybody trying to be them. Do you know what I mean? Like, do your own thing, be your own lane. I don't want the edits to kind of trying to make them that couple. You don't need to. Like, it's black couples are not a monolith. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we can be different. Like, do you know what I mean? So, what was your thoughts around Brie and Vinny, especially the dramatic monologue Brie put up in there? I mean, I felt that's like a bit of shared in there, cause a little bit of shared in there. Sinead, what are you saying? Go for it.
I'm gonna go first because I fast forwarded through them. Okay. So anyway, I'm just gonna take my opportunity on this panel to shout out a beautiful Black woman. In a world where there's so much trash on TV, to see a Liz walk in the room and shut it down, and then to see a Brianna walk in the room and shut it down, I was encouraged, uplifted, inspired, and just seeing that beautiful melanin on my screen popping. I was like, let me get this situation together, Brie, and see where you got that dress, sis, because baby, hey, bring all the boys to the yard, okay? Yeah, she did all of that. She looked absolutely stunning. And congrats to her and Vincent. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Love that. We'll talk about this at the afterlife. Anyway, so yes.
You want to
Kelly,
talk about the? Are you trying to talk about the fabric of the dress?
No. Afterlife. I got enough heat as it is. I don't need any more extra heat. Kenny, what's your thoughts on? What's your thoughts on Brie and Vincent?
Look, you know, because we just talked about trash. Like, I have no choice. Like, I just feel in my spirit that I just need to bring out positivity. So I'm not even going to be as critiquing as I usually would be about Brie and Vincent. I would just say, honestly, if she's happy, I'm happy. And she honestly seemed ecstatic. Like, she seemed ecstatic. Now, y'all know how I feel about baby Vinny. Like, you know how I feel about him. So I'm not going to rehash it. He is now officially someone's like legit husband. Let's hope that he rises to the occasion and gets her another cheesecake with a ring inside, you know, because you know she wants that ring. And his face fell but you know, he will rise up. He will rise to the occasion. But she looked amazing in that red. The lashes, the skin, pow, 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 tens, tens, tens. I wish them all the best. I have much hope for them. I hope they seek counsel. I hope their community rallies around them. I hope they operate in self-awareness. But she genuinely seems happy, and I can't help but root for that.
Well, let me just correction it. Bree's milkshake bring all the boys to the bank, not the yard. Because if Champagne Vinny can sustain Bree's lifestyle, it's gonna go south really quick. But to on a positive note, that gesture of the cheesecake was really nice. It was really romantic. But like she said, she preferred a ring. So a milkshake bring all the boys to the bank. But then it was really nice. The two of them, they're really nice. I wish them all the best because I want to end on a good note. I wish them all the best. I think they will work. Like Kenny said, they need counseling, probably marriage counseling, but I think the two of them will work. Long term, I see the two of them lasting. But he just needs to get over his feelings sometimes because he's a little too sensitive. And Brie needs to be stopped nitpicking because she nitpicks a lot. And I think the two of them will work. The longevity is for them. It's there.
Folks want us to talk about the fashions. They want us to talk about the fashions.
Is that why Kojo's covering his face?
That is why Kojo is covering his face, because he has strong feelings about fabric, buttons hanging for dear life.
I'm gonna say it for the afterlife. We're not doing it on there because
Why body shaming Vinny? Okay, let the boy live. Okay?
I'm not body shaming him. That's why I said afterlife. Okay, afterlife.
All right,
afterlife.
Okay,
Lola.
All right, so you know what? We've said from the beginning that they seem like the couple who are most likely to work out. When you look at them on appearance, they're a handsome couple. She's walking in that red dress, nice little cute boots. We know she looks good. Uncle Vinny, he made an attempt, his jacket was a little tight, but that's okay. You know what? He made the attempt, But usually what men do when they sit down is they unbutton their jackets, right, guys? You undo the button, then you sit down. You don't let it string to the sock. But he's going to get used to dressing like a gentleman soon. So I'm going to let him go with that. But you know what? Like Kenny said, she definitely looked genuinely happy. Even when he gave her that crummy cheesecake. Like, I like cheesecake, but don't give me cheesecake in place of a ring. So I wasn't really moved by the little sentiment, but maybe it's a little thing between them. She had tears in her eyes. So I'm okay with that. If she's happy, I'm happy. Because I think if they get the right stuff in place, they possibly could work. So it works. But there's one, she said two things that made me feel like, okay, maybe she has grown from this experience. She said certain things about, she's got to do a lot of compromising because we know she does have a tendency to want things to go her way. And then she says something about that she had grown or changed into somebody else and she likes that person she changed into. That's good news. I don't know if that was just camera news or if that's the real stuff. But at this point, with the other nonsense we talked about, I'm all for this happy story right now. I want to believe in them. And I do believe with the best type of help, they'll do fine. Now, they're good. It's good to see it. Just hopefully he doesn't think that cheesecake is going to replace the ring. But I'm sure Brie won't let him forget the ring. So that's it. But yeah, they were cool. Done. Talk.
Yes, guys.
Why are you holding it in? What do you want to say about Vinny's button? Say it.
I don't want to say anything.
No, it was tight. We know it is.
It's the comments. They are bad. They are bad.
Trent Jones.
Trent Jones is just terrible. Okay? Just terrible out here with the comments. But
the comments are giving me so much life.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to do it in the afterlife because I need to laugh and I'm going to laugh in the afterlife. I'm not going to laugh on live. I'm going to laugh in the afterlife. Okay. Now, yes, David, what is your viewpoint to the Brie and the Vincent situation?
I'm honestly not sure about them. I'm not sure if they're really going to make it. And that depends on two things. For Vinny, it depends on whether or not he can actually communicate like be able to be responsive while also being able to really share how he feels with her while not blowing up, right? Like to not hold in that resentment and allow things to fester within himself, but then also for Bree to actually be able to manage how she speaks to him, how she regards him, because it doesn't seem like she regards him. Wow. Sorry, I'm looking at the comment under. I don't think she regards Vinny very well in terms of giving him certain kinds of respect. It seems that it would. She said that she genuinely does not mean any harm by it, but I think there's still some bias against him that she may have that she just feels like she can fix about him. And I think that's where the bossiness comes into play, in the fact that she thinks that she can ultimately change him, right? Because she thinks that she has been changed, she also wants to change him. And I don't think that's necessarily healthy. I'm not sure if that's going to allow the relationship to really flourish. And I'm glad they're working on things, but ultimately I feel like they need to really get counseling, and she is going to have to change. The fact that she was still adamant about saying that she's not going to change, or there's certain things about herself that she's never going to change, I think that's an issue. Because they're both going to have to change. That's what marriage does. So I hope they do well. I'm just not sure if they will, unless those two things change. Those two main things change. But yeah.
Good points there. Good points. Solid as always, David. Who hasn't spoke? Maria, have you spoken on these two? You haven't had. You want to speak on the Brie and the Vincent? Leave his tie alone. Go for it, Maria.
Look, I'm not here to body shame Vinny. You know, ain't nothing wrong with a little pop belly. You know what I'm saying? He needs to stand in
Nothing
his
wrong with that
truth
at
or
all.
whatever.
Flowing it. I was a bit tight.
It was a little tight, but that's okay.
The
Okay.
boy was choking, man. That's not bullshit. The boy was
Stop.
choking
You're not
on the
about to reel
sofa.
me in.
No. I'm sorry. I had to say it. No. He was choking on the sofa. Listen, you know, us men, when we do our tie, you have to just a little bit of air to breathe. You just need a little bit. The poor boy was choking on the sofa. Choking. And that's going to the suit. That's his tie alone.
Looking like
we'll do the rest when we get to Afterlife.
Kojo, what happened to Afterlife? You couldn't do it. You couldn't.
I couldn't do it.
All you had to do was hang in there.
It was too. Honestly, it was just so tight. And then I don't know what was going on with the way it was positioned. I said, "Nah, I'm sorry." But anyway, we'll talk about Afterlife.
I think. Okay, let me stop.
Y'all can't be doing this. Y'all know he's sensitive. Leave him alone.
I know, but the tie. Someone's got to tell him.
Anyway,
I'm sure she wanted to tell him, but she couldn't. Go on.
Okay, let me just. Okay. Yeah. So, Vinny and this cheesecake proposal, I feel like it's another fake proposal. Like, I'm like, what is going on with these whack proposals? I mean, I really feel like it's another reflection. Like, Vinny, I think he does feel uneasy about spending the rest of his life with Bree, just because the bossy factor, that's something that really grinds his gears. Okay, he ain't happy about it. He doesn't like that, and she's adamant about not changing that. And when she said that, if you look, it like the camera like pointed at him right after she said that, like, you could tell his face is in distress. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was the tie choking him, or maybe he was really in distress about the whole situation. Because you just never know. Like, I don't know, Vinny. Like, I think you need to live in your truth, you know, speak your truth about it. And, you know, don't be making Bree think it's okay. Because I think that is an area of growth for her. She doesn't see it as that. She thinks it's like, oh, I don't want to change. It's like, girl, like, we're not asking you to change. We're just asking you to evolve. There's a difference, you know, like there is an upgraded you that could be had. And I think Vincent doesn't know how to facilitate that growth in her or to inspire that growth in her because he's not willing to communicate how he really feels. So that's my only hesitation with that. The cheesecake proposal, I don't know what that's about. Like, look, men, if you're proposing to a woman, just do the ring, do the right thing. Like, like these weird things of like a cheesecake and a rubber band man and like all this stuff, like, don't do it. Okay, do a real ring. Okay, put that money down. Okay, go into debt. Okay, spend your whole life savings. Get a real ring.
Wait, whoa. I was like, wait, whoa. That was a hard left, like Lotus one.
Okay. I'm just kidding.
I'm
just exaggerating, but I'm just saying, like, just do it the right way. If you can't do it, don't do it at all, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the cheesecake proposal, you know, cute and all, but you heard her say, she's like, yeah, but I want a real ring though. Okay, so you still got work to do, Vinny. So, I mean, that's really all I have to say about them. I mean, I'm happy for them. I knew they were going to say yes. All of y'all on the super panel owe me $20, okay? Because I would just tell the audience this. Before the episode aired, I dropped all my predictions in the chat. And I felt like it was like a March Madness bracket or something. You know, I was right, 100% correct on all of my predictions, okay? So y'all owe me money. I'm going to drop my Cash App in the chat, okay? Y'all can just bless me with that. $20, you know, minimum, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I just wanted to let y'all know that. Y'all got to profit in some money.
Lola's acting like she's sleeping. She said, I fell asleep at this point.
And she owes money.
I fell asleep at this point.
When you owe $20. Yeah, that honestly, yeah. Sorry.
Vinny's trying to fatten.
Did you want to say something?
No, when she asking for, she wants to drop a cash app at this point in my life. I feel like Jacob. I feel like a wall. So I just didn't hear that. My communication skills is just not working right now. I'm sorry.
Wow. You really be coming at Jacob's neck.
Wow. So when it comes to the money is when mugs want to start acting funny. That's real crazy.
I'm gonna give you cheesecake. It's the symbol.
It's a Mazzolini. It's a
Mazzolini. Vinny's trying to not a rubber band. I'm good.
Vinny's trying to get Bree to be on his level with the cheesecake. He's sending her subliminal shots that she needs to
shake it up a little bit. 9K is a lot. Listen, cheesecakes are cheaper than a 4K ring. Listen, I understand that. Do you know what I'm saying? The brother is just trying to be smart and economical. And we love a brother who's economical. Do you understand? Yeah? You live long. Now, obviously, don't take that advice. You'll be single. But obviously, yes, we've come to the end of our conversation, guys. It's been inspiring. It's been inspiring. Listen, we have not finished Married at First Sight yet because there's one more week left where they have to do the reunion, and it may get tasty there. Hopefully, we get to see a repeat, you know, of what we saw last season when Henry decided to come out the neck of old girl Christine. So we might get the same thing with Haley and Jacob, and we'll have a bit of a laugh and a bit of fun next week. I almost feel like, you know what? This feels like, you know, when you were in school and the teacher was like, look, next week, guys, we're going to have a fun class. Okay. Next we'll play some games. That's how I feel like we're going to be. Like, next week, guys, we're going to have a bit more fun. We're going to let loose a little bit. It's reunion. Hopefully we'll have some jokes and some light hearted stuff as well. And hopefully Chris and Paige won't be doing us dirty next week, but we can't guarantee that. So, whew, Chile. Listen, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I looked at the video again of Vincent, bruv. Listen, the tie is doing him injustice. The tie is literally listen, the boy is drowning on his own tie. But listen, I'm gonna I'm gonna show the video. You're gonna look at what I'm seeing. Guys, it's been amazing. Thank you so much. We've you know, you guys been joining the show. We appreciate you guys comments and stuff. Listen, next week, send the email early, please, and we'll get you on the panel in the conversation as well. No, you lot are just bad. Someone said Ty's winning the fight. Next week we'll see you. Listen.
Vincent's whole suit was struggling. I don't know.
Do you know what? No, we're going off now. Bye, guys. We're going off. We'll see you again next week. Stay